It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, go to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and I'm fired up. It's going to be one heck of a weekend. The crosstown is here. The weather is nice and warm. I tell you what, we're ready to roll. I'm fired the freak up. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Watching this on YouTube, but then I guess you found us on YouTube as well. Listen, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings, at SM_mornings. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I mean, nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snap-Off. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Kai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you do it just for the gram, you want to follow her on Instagram, do it at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. I would be remiss. He's been working. There he is. He's ready. He's ready to roll. He's ready to roll, my man. He is the whiz. He is the man behind the curtain. My Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Good morning, Shawn. What's up? You sound like you had fun yesterday.
Oh, man.
You sound like you had a good night.
That's the problem when you have friends who own bars. Problem.
I saw the picture. I saw your post on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh man, oh no, get away!"
What time was this? What time? Oh, shoot, he's got.
And I was like, "Man, they got the crosstown. They're probably talking about that." I was like, "Uh-oh, we're in trouble."
Yeah, a lot of that was going on, and a lot of shots were going on last night. My goodness, it was nutso.
Sounds like a blast.
It was. It definitely was a great time hanging out with Carlitos, my buddy, Eddie G, and Alvaro, and Sandra, and Shorty. I tell you, it was a good time. Definitely a good time. But listen, we got a great show for you, but we need you to get interactive. So what I need you to do is, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then here's what I need you to do. Just leave a question, comment right there on the post, and Ivan will bring it up, as long as it's not stupid. Okay? And if you're watching this on the app, you know what? Download the app. Download the app. Download the app. Repeat. Download the app. Check it out. If you're watching this on the app, then you can even you can text us from the app as well, and it'll be brought right up on our screen. But listen, we have a phenomenal. I say phenomenal. I mean a phenomenal show for you today. You know who's coming up in just a few minutes? Our guy Joseph Phillips is coming in. He's from the Chicago Crusader room, so he's gonna sit with us in the top of the morning segment. Then at 10 o'clock, Kenneth Davis comes on. 10:30, Brad Squires from the On Tap Sportsnet. It is the Crosstown weekend. We're going to get a White Sox perspective from Brad Squires, and we're going to talk to the Bulls because he covers the Bulls also for the On Tap Sportsnet, and he was very happy about the dismissal of Bulls former head coach Jim Boylan. So I want to get his take. We'll get his take a little bit on the Bulls and their new positioning in the draft after the draft lottery was held yesterday. So 10:30, Brad Squires. And then 11 o'clock, Andy Cruz Vanasek. She writes for Lead Cubby Blue. So Ivan has another one of his people on the show. So we're going to get a Cubs perspective from Andy Krugers-Vanasek at 11 o'clock. So we have a full show. Guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning to you, and these are the hot topics of the night before, just for sports in general. And our Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader, the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And with that, we bring in our good friend. He is the sports editor over there. He is a great friend of the program. You can find him on Twitter at ACA Joe. Guys, welcome back, Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
Good morning, Papa. God bless. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, Papa. It was a long night.
Oh, man. You made it home safely, right?
Yeah.
That's good, dude. That's good, dude.
That's right. That's what I was telling Ivan, and I posted. It's the problem when you have friends who own bars. Like, come on, man. You kicked everybody out after closing.
Because they really had to pull your leg.
They did. Twisted my arm. They twisted my arm.
I'm glad you made it home safely, man. We was gonna have to come get you.
Hey, we had to leave. One of our friends had to leave the car there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send what they say, AP out on you looking for you.
APB, all persons bulletin.
That's right. So I'm glad you made it home safe. That's all.
yeah, it's good stuff. So man, it's we got a lot to talk about, baby. Like a lot to talk about, huh?
Yes, sir. Busy weekend. I was supposed to be covering Cubs Sox tomorrow, so
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
You have your Sox jersey on?
What's that?
You gonna have your Sox jersey on?
Oh, you know what? If I was allowed to wear jerseys in the press box, man, that would be nice, man.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it started. Our first top of the morning topic is the White Sox sweep the Detroit Tigers 9-0 yesterday. Man, Lucas Giolito was on fire. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 7 innings of shutout ball, 1 walk, and count them, 13 strikeouts.
Wow.
13 strikeouts on 110 pitches. Whew. That's a way to sweep the Tigers in a 4-game set and get ready for the first place Chicago Cubs.
Wow. I think they're actually listening to the show, Shawn. I'm telling you now. Rick Renteria is taking your advice. He allowed Giolito to continue his dominance. 7 in the pinch, 3 hits, 0 runs, 1 base on ball. And as you said, with emphasis, 13 Ks with 110 pitches. So shout out to Lucas Giolito for shutting down the Tigers lineup. You guys are beating who you're supposed to beat on the schedule. And now when it comes to teams that you will get up for, such as your brothers across the red line, those Chicago Cubs, this is perfect timing, and this is exactly what everybody's been waiting for.
It is, and that's the thing. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat, the White Sox are doing, and then as long as you can split with the good teams, you're in a really good position. Because right now, if the season ended today, the White Sox would be in the playoffs. So they're in 3rd place. They're a game and a half back of Cleveland, who's in 2nd place because they're a half game back. But if the season ended today, they would be in the playoffs. So that's all the White Sox are trying to do: get to the playoffs. If they do, at that point, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
As in the words of Kevin Garnett, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Is that Ivan?
You're muted. Yeah, you're muted.
I think the biggest thing for the Sox so far, like in recent, like the last week or so, has been Tim Anderson. It's just he kind of rejuvenated the lineup. You know what I mean?
Like, came back. You're right.
Him being out, the lineup was slumping, and then all of a sudden, you get the Keuchel, lighting the fire under their butts, whatever. But the big acquisition, the big addition was the bat of Tim Anderson. The batting champion. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Right. He's the heart and soul of this team. When he came back, that coincided with Dallas Keuchel's calling out of his teammates.
Right.
But man, let me tell you something. He is unbelievable. The value that he has to this team is second to none, and you can't quantify it. There's no stat, there's no nothing. But if you played sports and when there's a guy on your team who's like the heart and soul, when there's a guy on your team that is the emotional leader, when he's out, you guys are that team will be lacking something. When he comes back, man, it's a huge pick me up, and that's exactly what it is. The White Sox have won 5 in a row, 6 in a row. No, it is 5 in a row. 5 in a row. The White Sox have won coming into this, and a lot of it has to do with the return of Tim Anderson.
And I believe also, Shawn, they're going to try to use this Cubs series to make a statement. Remember, I was talking about how there should be a little bit more sense of urgency, and now I think they're going to reveal it. I think they've been waiting for this moment. I believe they care less about the other opponents that they played against. They like playing against the Chicago Cubs, and they are going to try to make a statement in this series. And hopefully, my guys are ready to go toe to toe with the South Side Hitmen.
It's gonna be a good series. All right. One of the biggest disappointments about the series is that there can't be any fans. And that really stinks. That really stinks because the crosstown classics are great, and the fan, and you feed off the fan energy. And since we can't have it, they're up in Wrigley, if I'm not mistaken. So you will have some rooftop people, but they're so far removed from the rooftops. It's not like they're right on the players like they would be if they're in the field. So it's going to be tough. You're not going to get a lot of fan atmosphere. You're going to get some because of the rooftops. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be one heck of a series. The White Sox, I think you're right, can make a statement. You win 2 out of 3. If you win 2 out of 3, that's a big statement that you'd be making for a White Sox team that people are wondering about. Okay, they've been inconsistent. There's been ups and downs, and in this shortened season, I should say, and they want to find out who's what team or how good the White Sox really are, and we're going to find out because the Cubs are a good team. They're in first place in the NL Central, and the second best record in baseball, I believe. So I think it's going to be a good litmus test for them if they come out. I'm looking for Eloy to do well. Eloy always does well against the Cubs, his former team. So I'm looking for him to do well. Tim Anderson. I'm really looking to see how these boys step up and show out. Dallas Keuchel versus John Lester tonight. 7:15 start. NBC Sports Chicago for the if you want the White Sox broadcast and the Marquee Sports Network. If you want the Cubs broadcast. If you want the White Sox radio, it's on 7:20. If you want the Cubs, it's at 6:70 a.m. So it's going to be fun, man. I'm excited about this one.
Do it.
Let's get right to it. Well, the next top of the morning topic, Dane Dunning. Dane Dunning. What a performance by Dane Dunning the other day. Dane Dunning performed. He pitched. He was called up, and he pitched on Wednesday. And let me tell you something. Man, oh man, oh man. This is the guy that we've been waiting for a long time. He had literally one bad pitch. One bad pitch. He had 4 in the third innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, a walk, and 7 punch-outs in 4 in the third. He gave up a 3-run shot, and that was it. That was it. You can see he started to fatigue a little, I think. But that's fine. Understandable. You're a rookie. A lot of adrenaline, because remember, he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. So to get your chance, you're going to be amped up. You're going to be fired up. But I'll tell you what, he was hitting spots. He had some nasty breaking pitches, and for his outstanding effort, which he didn't figure into the decision. He got sent back to Schaumburg after yesterday morning. Are you okay with Dane Dunning being sent back down to Schaumburg?
Well, first of all, shout out to Dane Dunning. Amazing call up, great performance. Even though he did give up, that 3-run shot, but overall performance, he looked like he belonged in the big leagues. And I think that his assignment being sit down is just only a message just to prepare him that you'll see him again before the season is up.
I do think, I think it's important. You have when you see a guy getting tired, like you saw Dane Dunning, I think what you want to do, and remember, he's still coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Right.
And so what you want to do is you want to take it slow.
That's right.
You want to take it slow with him. So send him back down to Schaumburg, and toward the end of the season, when the stretch run comes up, bring him back up.
That's right.
Okay, get him some more, get him some quality innings. Okay, innings that matter when you're in a playoff push.
Right.
That experience is invaluable. Okay, and then if you need him in the playoffs, there's two reasons. One, his arm is fresh, but two, there's not a lot of tape on him.
That's right.
Okay, there'll be one maybe 2 games, and you can't. I mean, you can see what he throws, but you can't see what he likes to throw. You have to go off of one tape, and trust me, when you're a coach and you're breaking down tape, as I used to do often, you never just want one tape. You want 2 or 3 usually, right. three different games. But he may not have that amount, and that could work to our advantage.
Yeah, it's like he's a secret weapon for you guys, just in case you need to pull out the arsenal. Because right now, it sounds like you guys are stockpiling weapons, just in case you need to pull out a 22. we when it comes down to the stretch run, you say, okay, we're gonna do a little sprinkles on this, throw a little long relief, and give you a taste of a little Dane Dunning. I know the last time you saw him, he was a little fatigued. But since he's been down in the minors, we built up his arm strength, and now you're about to get the full-blown version of Dane Dunning, shutting out guys over 3 and 4 innings or 4 or 5 innings, a spot start here and there before the season closes out. This is the message to the rest of the American League Central or whoever they actually play in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's like the final piece because you have Kopech, you have Keuchel, you have Giolito, Kopech, Keuchel, Giolito, Dylan Cease, and now Dane Dunning. Okay, those are the guys that you anticipate moving forward in the next couple of years. That'll be your starting 5. Okay, Carlos Rodon, I think, is much better suited for a middle relief role. Okay, or maybe a 6th starter. It could be like, remember Tyler Chatwood last year? You had him as a spot starter, as a middle reliever. I think Carlos Rodon is going to fit in that role because he just can't stay healthy. So I think you saw the final piece of that of the starting 5 for this White Sox moving forward, and he did not disappoint. He did not disappoint in his outing, except just a 1 bad pitch gave up the 3-run homer. But other than that, it was in control. And there was just a tough luck loss for a tough luck outing for him. But other than that, I like what he's got. I love his moxie. I really like this kid, and I can't wait to see. This is the guy, Dane Dunning. What's really crazy, Dane Dunning and Dylan Cease, those are guys who can end up being a 1-2 on some teams when as they mature.
Right.
But they won't have the ability to get to 1-2 because you're gonna have Kopech, you're gonna have Keuchel, and you got Giolito. So the great part about it is you have guys who could be a 1-2 somewhere else, like on another team, but they're pitching 4 or 5.
Right.
And you talk about a huge advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys are gonna just like that Cubs team in 2015. I think you guys are going to be a little bit forced to peak this year, even though it's a short season.
Mm-hmm.
But this little tape on this team, it's going to put them in a situation where they're going to grow up from being boys to men. You see what I mean? Just these names that are coming up, and I don't think they're afraid of anyone. I'm just putting it out there now to give that added confidence to Sox fans and let them know, if they are put in a situation, I think they're going to make an impact in the first round of playoffs. I think they're going to go pretty far if, like you said, they get that consistent start pitching. You get a 3-man rotation in there, and then you always have that one surprise starter that might make it into the rotation. You never know, that 3-man, 4-man rotation. So at the end of the day, I still got the Sox, coming out of the American League period, and I got the Cubs coming out the National League. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What a flashback. That was a low blow right there. I was just trying to make peace, but I guess no peace.
You know what? No. And no peace. No peace. All right, Ivan, we got you.
He was like, here's a reminder.
Here's a reminder of when our guy sucker punched your guy because your guy ran us over. Here's a reminder.
I was at that game too, Shawn.
Oh, were you?
And me and my buddies, because we were losing, and we was like, what's going on? And here comes Michael Barrett, because I know AJ, AJ had a way of getting under people's skin,
He did. He didn't do anything on that play, though.
Yeah,
Barrett was blocking the plate. Barrett was blocking the plate.
Yeah.
And he ran him over and then slammed on home plate like I scored.
Yeah, that was Michael Barrett. I think that was his last year with the Cubs too. So
yeah.
But when he got into that fight with Zambrano, that's the last time. But I remember that game. I was there, and unfortunately, they got into a little brouhaha. But as Barrett threw the punch, I did stand up, and everybody was like, "Woo!" in the stadium. It was an old school brouhaha. So I remember that game.
That had to be a great game to be at. That had to be really, really, really cool, man. That's one thing you'll never forget. Let's move it on a little bit. The next top of the morning topic. So who's hotter going into this crosstown? Do we have the White Sox who've won 5 in a row? Do we have who's hotter? Are the Cubs hotter because they're in first place in the NL Central with the second best record in baseball? So who's hotter?
I got to go with the White Sox right now. Even though we've maintained and we were battle tested through this Cardinal series, and like you predicted, you said the Cubs will split one on that the first day of the doubleheader. That's what happened. And then we escaped a few. Thanks to David, the Boat Show Bodie, coming through in the clutch. He at least got us at least 3 of those wins, 2 or 3 of those wins in that series. But the bottom line was we beat the Cardinals in the series 3-2. They heard our actual response. They heard Ivan and I passionately calling them out, last week, telling them like, look, we can't sleep at the wheel. We got to go out there and produce. And that's exactly what they did. And now you think the Cardinals gave us a hard time. The White Sox are even harder right now. So we have to send a message to them too.
I think you're right. I think the White Sox might be hotter. The White Sox would be in second place, or maybe even first. But damn it, Minnesota and Cleveland keep winning. The Cleveland Indians are on a 6-game winning streak as well. So as we've been winning, so have they. Minnesota, well, they're on a one. They won yesterday after their loss on Wednesday. But those two teams are staying hot, and that's unfortunate for us. I mean, we're going to make the playoffs if we continue winning, but you want to be in those guaranteed spots because the top 2 teams in each division go to the playoffs. Then the next 2 best, the last 2 are by best record. So if we can get to that second spot, be in second place, then we're assured a playoff spot. But I think the White Sox are I think they might be the hotter team. And it's no disrespect to the Cubs, you guys, you're holding it down in the NL Central. But man, how many times am I going to see Abreu bring home Tim Anderson and Yohan Moncada?
Right.
Put it this way, not enough. in my book, not enough. Right. And one thing that I'll tell you is they're locked. Jose's locked in. Those top 3 with Tim Anderson, Moncada, and Abreu, they're just locked the freak in, man. Let me tell you, it's to see that. I mean, you talk about, we talk about professional hitters.
That's right.
Jose Abreu is a professional hitter. All right, by his approach to the plate, his approach, his work off the diamond to prepare for a game, and then when he's in the box, he's just so focused.
Right.
And here's one thing that I'm going to tell you: watch out for Eloy. We know how Eloy likes to go crazy against the Cubs.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I've seen with Eloy in the last few days is he's starting to go opposite field.
Oppo, yeah.
If he can start hitting up, if he starts using the whole field, this kid is going to be unbelievable.
Right.
And we haven't even mentioned Luis Robert.
Right.
Haven't even mentioned him. And we're talking 4 guys who can really, really hurt you, and we haven't even talked about Luis Robert. That's how deep this squad is. I just think they need some seasoning, and this short season can get them the seasoning that they need. And I love the fact that they're hot right now. They're very hot. Now I can deal with some of the looseness.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like an Eloy. Okay, I could deal with that because you're winning.
That's
but
right.
Just make sure you stay focused.
That's right. Like I said, I think you got their attention because, as I said on Wednesday's show, they were a little bit lax, but now they're starting to peak at the right time. They're realizing that they should have a better record than this, and now they're about to go out there and start winning those games that they didn't win before. And what better way you can make a mark for yourself than playing against your crosstown rivals who you secretly hate or sometimes publicly hate the most. So I can feel it right now. I can feel it in the building. Like I said, we have utmost respect from number 1 to your number 10 hitter in that lineup. Your DH, everybody. We have utmost respect for Jose Abreu, who's been a professional hitter before he played for the White Sox. Right. He was ripping off the Team USA, when we first met him, he was putting that ball over the wall when he was playing. Was that Dominican Republic?
Cuba,
right, Cuba. But he was showing his power and his hitting for average then, So he's an amazing ball player, and now he's a pro, and he's in his prime, So shout out to Jose, who's carrying the team right now. And I said this earlier in the week. I said that no matter how much you guys go into a slump, you always need that one guy that remains hot and consistent throughout the year. And that one guy has always been Jose Abreu. So shout out to him.
Guys, we got to take a quick break, our first break of the show. So don't go anywhere, folks. On the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
That ball seeking the corner. It's got the height. It's got the distance, and it is gone.
White Sox radio with the call. Tim Anderson doing it again. Part of a 9-0 rout over the Tigers. Big day for Lucas Giolito. He matched his career best with 13 strikeouts over 7 innings. The win pulls his record to 2-2. Anderson's 4th inning homer was his 6th of the season, 4th of the series. 8 hits and 7 RBI for the shortstop over the 4-game run. Now it's on to a series with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Cubs had Thursday off. Tonight it'll be John Lester, 2-0, starting against 3-2 Dallas Keuchel. The Cardinals beat the Reds 5-4, finally back home at Busch Stadium. Colton Wong with an RBI single, capping a 3-run rally in the 9th. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select 1-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on the SportsZone Chicago on his TGI Mickey Vicky Friday. Let me tell you what, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. 89 degrees today. Let's just check out the whole. I might head back to Michigan just to act crazy. Just because I'll be acting crazy. 89 degrees today and sunny. 89 degrees and sunny tomorrow. 90 degrees and sunny on Sunday. Wow, we had 91 on Monday, 92 on Tuesday, 94 on Wednesday. Apparently, summer's like, hold up. No. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. It's going to be one hell of a weekend. Nice and hot weather. What a perfect weekend for some baseball. Man, I'm fired up. I'm telling you, I am fired the freak up.
Wind's blowing out. You ready, Scott?
I'll tell you what. Let's keep it going. The next top of the morning topic. Wow, the fallout from this has been huge. Tom Brenneman does the play-by-play for the Cincinnati Reds. He was doing a game for Fox, and there was a hot mic, and he used a homophobic slur. It was caught on the mic. Apparently, he obviously didn't realize that the mic was on, and he continued. And then he got pulled and suspended. But the fallout didn't stop there. The next day, which was yesterday, he got word that the NFL, who he does work for Fox, removed him from their lineup as well. They're moving forward without him. So not only did he get suspended and probably lost his job on the baseball side, but now he also lost his job on the football side. And I'll tell you what, Joseph, I think he's done. I think that was career suicide. What happened? I think he's done. I don't think you'll hear him on a national broadcast again.
Wow, Tom was an excellent broadcaster. You sure will be missed. I know his daddy, Marty Brenner, correct? Was a Hall of Famer. So, I'm going to miss hearing his voice on the NFL broadcast, and also I'm going to miss him taking shots at the Cubs, on occasions because of his love for the Cincinnati Reds. In addition to that, how it ended when he was actually a broadcaster for the Cubs. When him and the players got into it. So sorry to hear the news. Hopefully he'll get a shot in the near future, and hopefully he does his best, for him and his family.
If you heard the apology, okay, that was the most ingenuous thing ever. Mm-hmm. He pleaded for his job in the future. He pleaded for, first of all, he said, I want to apologize to the people who signed my checks. Here's a crazy idea. Why don't you apologize to the people that you offended? To the LGBTQ community. Why don't you apologize to them? That would have been a good start. But the fact that you just neglect, I apologize to anyone I hurt. Anyone you hurt, who that comment would have offended. So apologize to them specifically first. He made that was the biggest blunder. That's career suicide. You always have to assume that Mike is hot. Always.
I don't know the context, but other than what was heard on the hot mic, but it's like, come on, man. Why are you discussing this in the booth anyway? Why are you having a conversation as such in the booth anyway? Like, it's top to bottom unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a professional broadcaster. You're on the national scene constantly. That's very unprofessional. He had to have been part of his nature. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like it had, because he said it so. I told you when he said it, I was like, he said it so nonchalant.
Very emphatically.
Very emphatic, nonchalant. It was like it was part of the broadcast almost.
Yeah.
That's how it sounded. It was like it sounded like it was part of the broadcast. I was like, what the hell's going on?
So when he said that it was no, this is not me, I laughed.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, how can you say that? First of all, we don't know you in your private life, but how could you say that, saying that something like that, no, so nonchalant, and then he just went right into the broadcast. He went right into the broadcast, smooth as day. There was no hiccup.
So to talk to your coworkers about that, okay, there has to be a precedent. Because you're not going to talk to your coworkers, your colleagues like that unless you've talked to them like that before.
Right, Shawn, and like I said, it's part of his nature. Because like you got to think, to have a hot mic on, like I almost feel like somebody probably got fed up hearing him and probably flicked the mic on. Somebody might have been pissed off at what he was saying, what they were hearing, and was like, "Oh, okay, well, boop, we're on now."
We'll fix him.
Hey, Shawn and Ivan, one thing, it was a scenario that didn't get the necessary attention like this did, which I thought should have gotten more attention, which came from our own organization, which was with Mark Grace. I don't know if you heard about that story, which was I thought was much stronger than this, where Mark Grace called his ex-wife a dingbat on national TV. And I actually heard it, like I was like, whoa, this is not a hot mic. And the crazy part is that he continued to talk about it, like even to a point where I think Lynn Casper had to check him for a second. He was like, I guess if your ex-wife is a dingbat, you must be me here. Like he was using an example. But Mark Grace is pretty much saying that because his ex-wife parked in the former commissioner Bud Selig's parking space, and he kind of was like, he said they used to call her dingbat like Edith from Archie Bunker. And he was kind of like casually joking about it, but I thought it was very disrespectful because my wife and I kind of took back at it. We was like, did he just call his ex-wife a dingbat like on national TV? And it wasn't a hot mic, and he got suspended for it low key. They wrote about it. I don't know if you heard about it, but I thought that was pretty, pretty tough, just coming from our own organization.
Well, he could have said a lot. He could have said a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't disrespect women like that.
You don't disrespect anybody on national TV.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be bringing in your like tying in personal stories. That's all fine and dandy, but when it's going too far and it's too personal, it makes the whole thing awkward. It makes it awkward for the viewer. It makes it awkward for your peers. It's just you know when to use personal stories. That's what I would say.
See, but what that shows you is a couple things. One, the comfort level that they feel comfortable saying it. Okay, talking in a certain manner. So that means this is not the first time they've used that type of language. Okay, when you see the comfort level with which people say things, you understand that this is something that they've done on a consistent basis. And the thing with Mark Grace, everybody loves him here, especially the north side. They love him, so they'll probably say, "Oh, well, I get what he meant," and that's when you start making excuses for people.
Right.
Okay. Oh no, well, he just meant like sometimes you kind of airhead. I'm an airhead to head, and people will jump to his defense, and where they should say, "Hey, listen, if she's your wife or your ex-wife, still just don't disrespect her like that."
Right.
Okay. She might be flighty, and she might be a dingbat. She very well could be. But you don't say that on national TV. You don't disrespect her on national TV or on a broadcast. You just, especially when she can't defend herself. So if she's there and she's like, and she has a chance to defend herself, then it's not as bad. It's still bad. It's just not as bad because she has a chance to defend herself. But she's not there, and you use that type of language toward her about her. Yeah, another big thing.
Defend herself, and that's defamation. You know what I'm saying? Like he's part of the Cubs organization, and he's on national television, down talking his ex-wife. She could definitely sue the organization for that, for defamation. But I mean, if the story ain't tying into what we're watching, baseball, football, what have you, why are we talking about it?
Right. And locker room talk, that's pretty much locker room talk. That's why I tell people, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. At the end of the day, you know how it was, guys growing up in the locker room. We locker room and barbershops are some of the two most intimate places for men. I'm just being, like, you really want to hear low down, dirty conversations. You go to either the locker room or the barbershop. The barbershop's that way. The locker room's that way. You know?
And that you hear the raw, uncut truth.
That's right. That's how you grow up, though. Most men grow up that way. And I know I grew up that way. My dad, he was a professional cursor. You know, like he made profanity look like it was a second language, you know. But I had to get delivered from profanity, so I don't use profanity anymore. So thank God for that.
Well, the next top of the morning topic, it was coming. Notre Dame has suspended all football activities after 5 Notre Dame football players test positive amid a campus outbreak of over 200 students at Notre Dame test positive for the coronavirus. Knew it was coming.
222? 222. Wow. So this is in the message to the Power 5, you know, like, man.
12, ACC, SEC, you better take a look at this. And the ACC specifically, because remember the Notre Dame football team had a heavy ACC schedule this year.
Right. Yeah, and that was going to be a revenue generator for sure. Because Notre Dame on its own generate huge revenue. So now with this hitting campus, you know, that might change their game plan a little bit, you know. So hope everybody gets well, and I hope other teams are taking notes. Other conferences are taking notes.
You know, it just bothers me. People's lives are on the line, period. People's lives are on the line. The heck with your multi-million-dollar contracts. The heck, because you're in addition to your multi-million-dollar contracts, there's going to be multi-million-dollar lawsuits.
Right.
Just push it back. The Big 12. Remember, I said on Wednesday morning when I woke up and checked the news out, Oklahoma State had a high number of positive tests among the student body. How do you expect these football players not to interact or engage with their fellow classmates? And and they're in the Big 12. I still, again, Joseph, I said it before and I'll say it again, I don't think the college football season gets played this year in the fall.
Yep, that's what it looks like, Shawn. You're predicting it right again. And you know, like I said, other teams will probably follow suit as more tests come out positive. And I just want everybody to stay safe and make the right decision at the end of the day.
You got to put people's health first, and college football is not doing that. They're not hiding it. They're not sugarcoating it. They just don't care. And trust me, when these lawsuits are coming in, you're going to care. You are definitely going to care. Well, the next top of the morning topic, man, this is a tough one. Chico himself, Ron Rivera, has been diagnosed with lymph node cancer. It was detected early. So according to Adam Schefter, it is quote unquote very treatable.
Oh wow!
Riverboat Ron, you know, he'll ever hold a place in my heart. He was part of the '85 Bears.
Yeah.
He's a defensive coordinator here for a while, and let me tell you, he's a stand-up guy, and I wouldn't wish cancer on anybody. Okay, I wouldn't do that. And so when it hits someone that you like, you know, it's a tough pill to swallow. But the silver lining in this cloud is it was caught early. It was caught very early, and as I said, according to Adam Schefter on ESPN, it's quote unquote very treatable. So hopefully he can come through this rather quickly without any serious complications, and get back to coaching the Washington football team. Yes,
shout out to Chico, Ron Rivera. I always wanted him to be the coach of the Bears, you know, low key, because of his defensive prowess. You know, we always felt we needed an 85 Bear to come back and coach this team, but that never happened, unfortunately. But get well soon, Chico. I hope you feel better. that you go through the proper treatments and everything, and that football will be there for you when you return.
My thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family in his fight. They said, luckily, it is said to be very treatable because of the stage with which they caught it. So thoughts and prayers go out to him and their family that he can get through this quickly. The next top of the morning topic, the New York Mets have 19 people in the organization test positive for COVID-19. So their series has been postponed. I don't know. People gotta stop playing around with this thing. People better stop playing around with this thing because it's no joke. Okay, this is gonna affect the season yet again. Yeah. So the finale of the Mets 4-game set versus the Miami Marlins was called off yesterday, and their game today against the Yankees has been at field. They were supposed to host it. Has been postponed. So
unbelievable. Wow, this is very similar to the St. Louis Cardinals situation.
Yeah, it is.
They lost so many players, and now it's the Mets. So hopefully this is not a trend that's starting where you're going from 1 positive test, 2 positive tests to 19 to 20 in one day. You know, that's something that's not good for Major League Baseball, because if that's a consistent trend, then there's a possibility they might cancel the season if it keeps happening with some of the not just the big market teams, but also the small market teams.
Yeah.
And New York is definitely a big market team. It's a big market. And, there's so many names and players at risk. And like I said, you never can put profit over people's lives.
You shouldn't.
It's also a COVID hotspot, but these guys are professionals. These aren't amateur athletes like we talk about with the college game. These are professionals. They have a contract, so they're going. Like, if they want to get paid, they have the option to opt out.
Right.
But if they want to get paid, they have to play. Fill out. Play out your contract. That's just what the difference between professional and amateur is. But you have New York, like I said, a hot spot for COVID.
Yep.
New York Mets. I mean, like they had. It's. I wouldn't say you could like seeing how the Marlins are back after they had like a big COVID boom with like 17 or plus players and staff having COVID. They're back to playing baseball. The Cardinals back to playing baseball. So for me, it's like, yeah, man, this sucks. I don't know how you guys got exposed to it or what have you, but I'm pretty confident now seeing that there's, seeing 3 teams if you count the Phillies. I think they had 1 or 2 people that were able to, corral whatever outbreak that they had, and they're back to playing baseball. I mean, it's at first initially you're like, man, this is a bad idea going without a bubble. You really don't have a plan. But now we're seeing that, they go through a quarantine, they're quarantined off, and then they're ready to go back and play. For me, it's like, you're gonna have to hope this doesn't continue, because it's gonna be hard. It's gonna get harder and harder to continue to find spots for games. We've seen what they're gonna do with the double headers, making them 7 games. I mean, that honestly, those 7-inning double headers, a lot of players are liking it. I mean, some of the fans and probably the managers won't, the teams probably won't overall, because 2 innings, that's a huge difference. 2 innings, you can score the runs that can make up what you're down by, the deficit. But as far as them figuring it out, like, I think they figured out a formula with the double headers. They did. We saw the Cubs play a double header, play a single game the next day, play a double header, and then they got a day off. We just witnessed it. So I mean, as long as it could work out similar to what we saw with the Cubs Cardinals, and they could find spots for those games, I mean, I wouldn't be too worried. But if multiple teams at once start having this problem, then I'm gonna be like, this is a problem, because you're not gonna find that time to make up.
Shawn and Ivan, I got a question for you guys. Do you think if it continues to progress the way it is, this quote unquote COVID-19, do you believe that when it comes to the playoffs, they might move it to an indoor stadium like a dome, and everybody will have to play in that particular stadium. Something similar to the College World Series, where you know how they have a specific location where they actually play this.
I could see a regional like a Milwaukee, like if the Cubs, if the Cubs and the White Sox make the playoffs, the central teams go up to Milwaukee or they go down to wherever they have a dome. You know what I mean? Houston for the American League or something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see them finding a bunch of little bubbles so they don't have to go too far. You know what I mean? So they're not that far away from each other. You're muted, Shawn.
Why are you saying a dome stadium though? Why would you suggest that? Why, as opposed to a regular
indoor?
stadium?
I was saying indoor because
temperature. It's going to be October, November. You have control.
Oh, okay. I thought because you just mentioned COVID. That's why I was.
Well, you have a controlled climate, but also you have your teams in one location.
Right.
So for the playoffs, you make sure nobody's going out and screwing around in the clubs and getting COVID and doing whatnot. You have where they're at, and then you can play out the games there with the controlled climate. You know what I'm saying? It just for me because I feel like this season is going to continue to get pushed into the winter. It'll suck for both teams if you have to go play outside in November.
And that's an option. That's just an option I'm throwing out there because the NBA is successful with the bubble right now. So I was just thinking like, okay, maybe we got to do something with the MLB because they get so many positive tests. And at the end of the day, maybe when it comes to the playoffs, they're going to probably have to invite all teams to one location and put some restrictions on things, and, kind of just like finish this season off and then come back with a solution next year.
Finish the season off like they should have started the season?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's interesting. I don't know how – that's a good thought. A bubble you see is working in the NBA, no positive cases the last 2 or 3 times they've tested. This is after they've made everybody make sure that you cannot leave the bubble. So they may baseball may take a page out of the NBA's book and do that because they see the success that the NBA's had. All right, so they may do that. Well, the next top of the morning topic, the Raptors. Ooh-wee. It's going to hit the fan. It's about to hit the fan. Masai Ujiri, the president of the Toronto Raptors, has filed a countersuit against the Oakland Police Department, and it was alleged that he was the aggressor. Okay, this was after the Toronto Raptors had won the NBA championship at Golden State. He was attempting to go back onto the court, and an officer pushed him twice actually before he gave pushback. So the officer filed a lawsuit. It was ridiculous. And now that the body cam video came out and showed that he was not the aggressor, right. I'm so glad he's suing. I would sue him for everything they got. The cop that pushed him, the police department. I'd sue everyone and their mama. Okay, because this guy and here's a thing of privilege. Here's that blue veil that people hate so much. Is it all goes and everything the way it's written in the report is what people take for law. Well, it must have. This is what he wrote in the report. Reports are manipulated to best suit your agenda.
That's right.
And so now when the body cam came out, Josiah's only mistake was not having his credential around his neck at the time. That was his only mistake.
Right.
Okay. But to be pushed twice, and it was, and the dude was ready to fight. So I don't know if he had a bad day, if his wife filed for divorce. My man was. I mean, if you saw the dude once he pushed him, right. He was ready to roll. He was ready to start. He was ready to humbug. I'm like, come on, man. Like, is that serious?
Right.
And you see Masai take out his credential, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. And so they filed suit. Now I can't wait. I want to see how this plays out because now we have the video. You have the body cam video of the Oakland police officer being the aggressor, pushing him twice. And if I were him,
the stadium. This is outside Oracle.
No, this was on the floor.
This is on the floor. This is
actually after they won.
No, that's right. That's right. Now I remember the story now. Okay.
Yeah, this is in the championship. I watched the video the other day, and it just looked like the guy had a bad day. I don't know if he was, you know how you had that one security guard.
You always got that one.
You always got that one, that old Otis, like on Martin. You know how old Otis. Like, I'm gonna take you down, boy. You don't want that. You don't want none of this young buck. So, he trying to challenge old Otis. He trying to challenge old Otis on the floor. He said, what you say, bro? He said, you just committed a 9 to 10. He's like, what 9 to 10? Me whooping you for 9 to 10 minutes.
No,
really.
See him having a bad day. What if he bet money on the Warriors to win?
That was Steph Curry's security guard.
Yeah, right. I know who this guy is.
He was mad. He was mad because the Golden State Warriors lost. That's what it was.
After being up 3, no, that was the other series. Yeah, that was so. The body cam video came out. I hope he gets millions from them. All right, it's just another situation where and believe me, I have plenty of friends who are cops, and most of those guys are good dudes. Okay, I should say I have a lot of people that I know are cops, and most of those guys are good dudes. But there still is that systematic racism that's there. And when you again, here's another case of them lying. All right, we've seen it time and time again.
Oh. It's a good action shot.
Yeah, it's froze. Shawn's froze like an Eskimo in the Winter Olympics.
It sucks because you're trying to celebrate your team's championship, an epic championship at that, and you get stuck by somebody who could have been. I mean, we can't go ahead and speculate on what was going on through that officer's mind, but he just that was a wrong thing to do. Whatever you thought you were doing, it was wrong. So I mean, it's like, I hope he does win. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. He was trying to go celebrate with his team.
You grew up in school, bro. You went to high school where you had that one security guard that always trying to put their hands on you. You'd be like, bro, you're not even a real cop, bro. What are you doing? Even though this guy was a real cop, but I'm saying that he had that type of aggression, So hopefully, he could go through some sensitivity training.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you would think that they would have Messiah like before it was over, they would have had him right next to the team or something like that.
Right.
Maybe he was just late right getting down, but either way, the guy made a mistake.
Yeah.
He made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a costly one for him and the department. So, yeah. Hey, listen, we got to take a break. Hey, Joseph, great stuff, Papa. We appreciate it. Every day that you're on, man. Any big plans this weekend?
Yeah, it looks like, hopefully, be praying for it, brother. I'll be covering the Cubs Sox tomorrow.
Okay.
And I get to witness another good game because I believe this series is going to be, a rock and sock'em robot. And like I said, my 3 stories for this week will be on the Chicago Football Classic, donating a 16-seat van to Habitual Inc., which is a nonprofit organization. And then in addition to that, also I'll be doing a story on the Jackson Park Wolfpack in their effort to fight against COVID-19 to help produce youth sports. And then last, it will be Cubs Sox series for over the weekend, pretty much.
Yay. I like it. I like that kind of party. Hey, good stuff, Papa. We'll see you. We'll talk to you on Monday. All right. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Guys, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, our guy, Kenneth Davis, joins the crew. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
That ball seeking in the corner. It's got the height, it's got the distance, and it is gone.
White Sox radio with the call. Tim Anderson doing it again. Part of a 9-0 rout over the Tigers. Big day for Lucas Giolito. He matched his career best with 13 strikeouts over 7 innings. The win pulls his record to 2-2. Anderson's 4th inning homer was his 6th of the season, 4th of the series. 8 hits and 7 RBI for the shortstop over the 4-game run. Now it's on to a series with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Cubs had Thursday off. Tonight it'll be John Lester 2-0 starting against 3-2 Dallas Keuchel. The Cardinals beat the Reds 5-4, finally back home at Busch Stadium. Colton Wong with an RBI single, capping a 3-run rally in the 9th. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby, and I'm fired the freak up. 90-degree weather today, 90-degree weather tomorrow, 90-degree weather on Sunday. Let me tell you, we back. Summer's like, no, I'm not done yet. No. Whoa. I ain't going nowhere yet. You know what? I like it. And so I think I'm going to Michigan tomorrow, or maybe today after the show. Yeah. Maybe today after the show, head up to Michigan, head to the beach. Hang at the beach all day tomorrow, and come back tomorrow night or first thing Sunday morning. I think that might be the move. That might be the move, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, I gotta rework this tan. I'm sorry to lose a little color. I gotta get darkness. Well, listen, we gotta bring up our next guest, man. It's good to be with us. He's gonna sit with us for the next hour, as he does every Monday and Friday. It is our boy from the formerly of the D and Davis Show. Man, you can find him on Twitter at That's Davis. Let's bring him in. We got some crosstown talk to get in. Bring back Kenneth Davis. Kenneth, what's up, Papa?
What's going on? Right now, tentatively the show is Davis Show. All right, so bring me in. I'm from the Davis Show. That's what I'm going with for the time being. I may put Kenneth on there, but just so you know, it's just. I'll change all the imaging in the upcoming month. Just the Davis Show. Okay. Fun. Why do you want it to be 90 degrees? I understand. All right. 80 degrees is fine.
Beach, damn it. I'm going to the beach. I want it 90.
It's really good. But 80s and the beach go well together. Why do you I want 90s? Like, dude, no, man. No. It's too hot, bro.
No, I get it because you're a bigger guy.
You can't even enjoy the sand. You can't even enjoy the sand in 90-degree weather.
You're right. That's why I'm gonna be in the lake. All right. I'm gonna be in the lake, man.
You take your trip up to Michigan, though. But yeah, as you said, dude, measuring stick time. Look, hat off to Ivan. Finally, the White Sox are put in this position to where we can kind of find out what maybe they really are right now. Because even if you love the Tigers, especially throughout the years with some of the stuff with the Tigers, it's not as bad as the Twins, but it's good. I hate to see Miguel Cabrera in this thing, but he's collecting the check, so I'm happy for that man. But the Tigers stink. I love the Mize Dunning setup, even though Mize, listen, Dunhill played well, but Mize looked like a different monster that game. Watching that game, that he may be around and special for some years to come. Like, okay, I see you. Then yesterday's game with Giolito, Gio did his thing. I wish he didn't have as many pitches in the seventh, and he could have made. He didn't need to complete the game, but still, it would have been nice to at least perhaps try to get a whole complete game in there. But right now, man, this is the measuring stick. All right, I mean, Cubs at least took 3 from the Cards. They didn't get cardinaled out the way that the Sox did, and now it's time to see against a good team because the Sox have basically been beating up kids. It's time to see, man, like how good the Sox are. Listen. Sox get 2 wins out of this series. I'm gonna be happy. Got Keuchel going up against Lester right now. I mean, in today's game. Cease going up against Hendricks, which will be interesting to say the least. Yeah. And we'll right now who's going to take on Yu Darvish. Listen, we definitely need the Panther back out there. Chill out and relax a little bit. We definitely need him. But it's a surprising thing, Shawn. I want to ask you this. This lineup looks so different on the back end without for a short amount of time, but without Magical and Robert there. And you feel like after Mazzara, and I'm giving Mazzara props, but after Mazzara, you kind of like, okay, it's cool. Most of the heat's up top. But when you see what they've been doing these last few days without Roberts and Brown, it's like, oh, and again, it's against the Detroit Tigers, but still it's like, okay, Mendick, you're doing your little stuff out there. I'm feeling you. Engel kind of rebounded a little bit somewhat. I've been happy. I've enjoyed, even though it's reminded me how long, because you think in this abbreviated state, we'd be trying to move it. And I feel like these last 3 games I've been watching, like they've been 4-hour games to go come. It feels like another 4 hours of baseball. It doesn't matter, but still, how do you look at this offense going up against the Cubs pitching, which is what, 3rd as far as giving up the fewest home runs, and that's basically the bread and butter of this offense. How do you feel about them taking on the starting pitching of the Cubs rotation?
Well, recently I feel good because recently, we saw. I mentioned it earlier. How many God blessed times am I going to see Jose Abreu drive in Tim Anderson and Yohan Moncada? For me, the answer is never too much, never too much, and I love it. And then after them, the thing that really has got me really fired up about it is that Eloy's going opposite. He's going oppo a lot.
Yeah.
And so now you can't pitch him anywhere, dude. You can't pitch him anywhere. And when you start going oppo, opposite field. It goes to show that you're locked in, you're zoned in, and with his power, you can't have him zoned in because that's a dangerous thing for pitchers. So, and the one thing that we've been seeing, they've been getting timely hitting, a lot of base hits, and they have a lot of home runs. Tim Anderson hit his 50th home run against the Detroit Tigers yesterday. Dude, tell me they aren't happy to see that joker out.
He's the bane of their existence. He's the bane of their existence.
But they're getting timely hits. They're getting doubles. They're going shopping at the gap, and so they're not. It's not all home runs. And to me, that's exciting. Okay, because the Cubs don't give up a lot of home runs. We have to know that they can be able to score without getting it via the home run. The Sox have been doing that lately, and for that, I'm excited. For that, I think the White Sox have a good shot. This Cub pitching staff is one of the reasons they're in first place. These guys are no joke. When you're talking about, we got Lester, you got the Professor, you got Darvish. That is a tough 3-game stretch that the White Sox have to face. But I think they're the right guys are hot right now, and I think it's just, put it this way, it's going to be one hell of a matchup. With Lester, Bulldog, the KG vet, and then the Professor, and you against this White Sox offense. I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait for this to come down.
I would have loved to see Giolito in this series.
Yes.
I would have loved to see it. Even though, and I hate to put this on Gio, I don't know if it would have been too much because you can see he was full of himself yesterday. It was I'm giving you all this heat, baby. You're taking all this heat. One thing you did bring up, and I want to piggyback on, is Eloy going the other way. From like Monday, I was on here, and Eloy, I keep my eye on Eloy because he's always about the shenanigans. I actually saw Wednesday's show, and I heard Maya critiquing him for being slightly goofy, and always it's party time too often. And I'm in the same vein with that. But I've been so happy, and again with him going oppo and like you said, being locked in, you get that value, and you're not angry from him being jovial too much because it's like, all right, that assassin is right there. Because sometimes when you're playing too much and you're not rewarding us with those hits, it's like, all right, man, you need to get your ish together. Now he still needs to just one button. All right, just you have that top one. Just like listen, like Abreu has it. Abreu still is giving you a little bit of chest, right? Just a smidge. It's really for the chains that Abreu does it. But Eloy gets down to where he's like sexy too. He's like in Florida and Miami right now. It's like, relax. It's not time yet. It's relax. And then this is the thing too. That's the thing that's felt so good. I love Jose Abreu. But he's an expert. Jose Abreu is a hitter's hitter, right? Yes. He's really doing his thing, but still to see the continued growth in Tim Anderson, and it's like, dude, you wasn't even a baseball player. How you hitting that ball like that, right? Yes. What, dog? That sinker he hit yesterday, and it's like that's what he does basically. Like his ability to hit breaking pitches for a guy that wasn't a pure baseball player coming up is astounding. You know what I'm saying? Because there's guys that play baseball their whole life that can't necessarily lock in like that. And when you see a guy that led the league in average last year, you like, is that a fluke? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he'll be 15 points lesser but you see him back at it, and it's like, no. This is who this young man is. All right, and still in that base. Man, it feels, I have to say, it feels really good. Now, the culture still has to change, which we talked about on Monday, and that's getting into then you got to see Ivan. You on that Cubs stuff right there.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Look at the games and the hate, right? Oh. That's a lot of. Hey, listen, I remember watching that game, right? And I remember he socked the mess out of AJ, and then little Scotty Potts was grabbing him and holding on to him, and didn't want none of that heat. He was just holding on for dear life. But still, hey, listen, that's what makes these rivalries. I remember being at work one day, right? It had to be 2009, maybe 2010. And it was us and like some old timers in the break room, right? Usually with the old timers, they all Cubs fans for the most part. So we're sitting there in the break room, and I remember the Soxers getting their ass kicked. And this is when we talked at work. I was pissed, right? Like I left the break. I usually don't let this bother me as much. I may allow that just for the fun of this weekend. I may allow it to get under my skin because at least I don't have to sit here and watch a Sox game and then go watch it. You do that with his goofy self. We don't care about that. We got TA. We good on the South Side.
We're straight.
We got all the rappers. All right. What rappers do you got? Right. All the rappers belong to us. You have no rappers. All right. We got us. Oh, see, that's disrespectful, right? You're playing a lot. But you know what this really shows? This is terrible. This really just shows how nervous you are. This is the only reason you're antagonizing us.
Yes.
Now you listen. You know what this feeling is? This feeling he's expressing right now is similar to what St. Louis Cardinals fans start feeling in 2015 when it was like, wait, is little brother finally going to start whooping my ass? And
yeah.
Oh, man. And it's not like little brother just whoops you once. It's like, no, little brother owns the game now. And
decisively.
It's hard for you to get back in control and beat him with the same tricks. So you're so worried because these South Side bats are coming up to the North Side that you got to throw the little nasty shorts out on here and disrespect all of us.
My man, ashy and everything.
Right? In the memory of Minnie Minoso, you shouldn't be doing this Bill Beckian mess that you're putting up. Like, he puts Bill Beck right there. This is disrespectful. By all means. Shout out to Bill Beck. But still, listen, so it's good still. Like, we're at this point where the White Sox can sit there and get a legit playoff spot and not just be a wild card team. Because you know what? We don't want to just be a wild card team. I'll accept it. Mm-hmm. But no. Let's go and knock one of these teams from the Twins or either the Cleveland. Let's knock one of these teams down. I know Sox have a problem with Cleveland's pitching, but still, let's go after these cats, man, and own up and do the thing, and then do our thing. And then with the Cubs, listen, I like the fact that they rebounded from what looked like the Cards was just going on a tear. We saw what they started off on Chicago. Listen, for Chicago's sake, get those 3 wins out of them, Cubs. Like, don't let them leave Chicago with their chest that puffed up, still full of Rona. All right, let them know that this is going to take a chunk of flesh out of them. But now you got to come and you got to deal with the boys on the South Side who do that score, let alone, I know that score is the reason Ivan's putting all those pictures up when he saw yesterday, because he did not want them showing up. He did not want them showing up with the type of heat that they're just going to be bringing. We're never worried when it comes to Dallas Keuchel. I will say this. I'm interested in Cease going up against the team that picked him up. Drafted him. You know what I'm saying? His former farm system. I'm interested in seeing him face the team of his former farm system and see, does that get him going? We know this usually gets Eloy's, Lowers, Boyer, right? Like Eloy, he got a thing for the Cubs. Y'all disrespected him by letting him go for Quintana, right? He got a thing against the Cubs, so you at least think he's going to be good. And then, man, if Robert is healthy, I hope he's in tonight's game.
Yeah.
That lineup, that back in that lineup, even more dangerous and scary. Our boy Yohan Moncada is taking walks and doing this. To go from 2 years ago, where he was checking out like it was going out of style. That one inside pitch when he was batting left yesterday, he would have swung at that 2 years ago, right? He would have swung off his heels at that ball 2 years ago, and to see that his eyes like, I'm not even going to attempt to try to swing at it. I'm not just saying this is a meatball Sox fan. I'm saying it when you see the growth in their skill set, because that's all baseball is really about.
Yeah.
When you see the diligence in them becoming better skilled baseball players. You know what I'm saying? Now, and this is one thing I do defensively. I want to see that left side of the infield get better. All right. There was some routine stuff that happened the last day or game or two where Timmy had that one, the scooper that he didn't pick up.
Yeah.
Had Yohan Moncada with the transfer, and he almost did it twice with the transfer, but the slow the second time, but he almost did it twice. And it's like, because once those and early in the year, Yohan Moncada is playing a great third or beginning of the season. He was catching everything he had to at the hot corner. All right, I need him to get back to that. I need Timmy to, and I know it just can't happen right away, but at short, he's going to have to get the routine stuff down, because when you get in playoff games, that's how you lose a playoff game, man. Forget situational hitting. If you can't pick up routine grounders, that's an issue. So I'm not just going to throw bouquets all over the Sox entirely. You definitely have to do that. You have to be better. You have to be more accurate. All right, when you're throwing that ball, it's not pulling necessarily your first baseman totally off the bag. You know what I'm saying? You really have to get those little fundamentals down. And I know people don't think about it sometimes, and these baseball players do. We see that with the hitting, but you have to work on those, because it's just easy brain memory, muscle memory to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. So look, that's my only problem. I didn't see any of the last couple games. I didn't see any terrible base running, which sometimes I don't know if this is Ricky telling them to go, or if it's necessarily the player like Mendick did on, I think that was Sunday's game. I haven't seen that for the last couple games, so I'm definitely happy with that. You're not running out outs. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy with that. But I need the defense to clean up. I need a little cleanup with the defense, and I need everybody to just keep doing what they've basically been doing. And now let's see against one of the better teams in baseball, the Chicago Cubs, how this team really can fare, because you've been beating on bums now. Now it's time to take on Big Brother and let them know with your chest out. All right, say it with your chest. All right, that you're here, and there's going to be a little rumbling here in the city as far as whose city this really belongs to, as far as what's the best team on the north side or on the south side.
And I agree that it's you're beating up on bums, but that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do when they're doing it. Because they were splitting these games with Detroit, it'd be like, oh damn, okay, so now we've beaten the scrubs, the busters, and now it's time to step our game up. I think they got us a lot of confidence. And you mentioned Tim Anderson. There's one thing I want to talk a little more about Tim Anderson. The other day he was moving around in that box. I'm watching him. I'm like, did he just move up in the box? And sure enough, it was. I was gonna say the day he hit a homer, but he hit a homer damn near every day against the Tigers. But it was the first pitch. He was expecting something inside. So he backed up all the way to the back of the box. And I should say not to the bottom of the box, but he stepped back. And then he missed. Then the second one, he stepped up. He was expecting a breaking pitch. He got the breaking pitch and lined it into left field, because he was in the front of the box or the top of the box, and it didn't have a chance to break yet. He caught it before it broke. And Steve Stone mentioned it, and sure enough, they went back and showed it. That he's moving around in the box. You don't move around the box unless you have the utmost confidence in your game, in your eye at that particular point. And Tim Anderson is there in the batter's box. I do agree with you. He still got us that was a bit of a tough play, but he's too much of an athlete not to make that. We had a round out to get that, get the ball and throw it out because it wasn't sharply hit. He should have had that, and that's his Achilles heel. Because if he can make, those routine plays, he's an all-star. Period. He's going to be the guy that's going to be in that all-star spot for the next 5 to 6 years. Okay,
right.
It was like you got to have like a super year to take him out. You know what I mean? I'm excited. They got a lot of swag. They're playing with a lot of swag right now, with a lot of confidence. The 5-game winning streak has got them feeling good, and it's time to show and prove. All right, you mentioned it. They have the second best record in baseball behind the Dodgers. Okay, second best record in baseball is who you're going up against, and put that aside. It's just Cub Sox. They usually used to throw the records out the window, but now the Sox have a 5-game winning streak. The Cubs have the second best record in baseball. It just adds to the intensity of it. And the only thing that really sucks about it is there's no fans, because you know how they feed off the energy of the fans. Granted, there'll be people in the rooftops up at Wrigley, but the rooftops aren't the same as when they're right on top of you in a game. So it's gonna be fun tonight and tomorrow. Those games are at 7, and then Sunday is a matinee affair, and it's gonna be I'm telling you, the one thing that I keep seeing, Jose Abreu driving in Tim Anderson, and I'm tired of seeing Tim go. Come on.
Yeah, dude. Listen, and it's funny because I record the games, but I turn to it sometimes it's live periodically before I go back and start over again. And I turned to it, and there was 2 guys on base, and Jose was up to bat, and I was like, "Oh, we're restarting this. I'm restarting this right now, right?" And listen, a great point when you mentioned Tim Anderson moving around in the box. I remember them specifically last week him moving back in the box because they were going to be throwing something on the inside and him picking it up. So yeah, definitely when you see a guy, and again, someone who baseball wasn't their predominant sport until later on in their high school / college career or whatever. You see a guy being able to do that is sweet, because how many times with Kenny drafting quote unquote athletes, all right, like Mitchell out of LSU, and guys was like, "May play a little football." Like, nah, dude, no more of them play a little football, right? Like, want a guy that was just hitting. One thing too, I want to go back to this week, and again, I know slight when I said Mize, he looked special the first 2018 first pick in the overall draft that Detroit took, the young pitcher. But Dane Dunning coming off of Tommy John surgery, right? He had to get his control a little together a couple of times, but still for him, unlike Mize, and we didn't know at that time when Dane went out that Mize was going to end up going out. They both was going to have basically the same stats outside of the one walk that Dunning gave away, but still for a depleted rotation that the White Sox have right now, where Ronaldo Lopez is out. We know there's 2 pitchers you can kind of depend on, even though sometimes Gio may be Gio. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see that, and I know they sent him back to Schaumburg because they got 2 days off coming up in the next coming week. But it's good to see Dunning pitch that well, especially with Kopech out and out, to know that if someone gets hurt or just in general, we need that start. Yeah, and then how electric that arm is, and it also makes you feel better for next season, for when he's a year away from this Tommy John surgery, and we can really see what this kid is really like. So, like sometimes, man, and I'm not going to say just because he had a good outing, and it was good that he went against another supreme rookie in that, but usually, man, they can come up and just fall flat on their face. We've seen that from Palmer. We've seen that from plenty of pitchers here. It was like, send his ass back down now. Now, so to see him, and it had to be a high-pressure game for him because it was his MLB debut, also against someone who was heralded that it was his debut also. Yep. So definitely a matchup. But to see him go out there and pull that off, it makes you feel good for the future, but also for this season that at least you got another live arm. Now, still an inexperienced arm, so there's still going to be times when he probably can't necessarily find the strike zone because who knows how he's going to feel as far as nervousness or just not having it, or if that arm is tired. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a brand new arm for him. I mean, now definitely he's had time to retrain it, but not retrain it in the big show. So those are different. Those innings are totally from all the simulation and anything that he's done. It's totally different. You know what I'm saying? He's seeing hitters that he's never seen, and he may have still doesn't necessarily know what he needs to do to get them out with his stuff compared to just going off the scouting report. But still, for him to come out and play that well, I'm looking forward to his next start to see the progress in him moving forward. So that was another thing from this week that I definitely say I had to enjoy outside of the hidden.
You know, the thing is, that's your number 5. That's the 5th starter, not necessarily your number 5, but that's your 5th starter because it's Giolito, Keuchel, Kopech, Cease, and Dunning.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward in this championship window as it's opening for the White Sox, that's your 5. All right, Rodon's going to be in the middle relief. Lopez is going to be somewhere probably in relief if he's even here.
Somewhere, man.
I don't know. That's your 5. And the great part about it, here's the thing: you got winners. You got guys who buckle, who settle down. Okay, you got guys who, you see Lucas Giolito get locked in. You see Dallas Keuchel get locked in. We've seen Kopech get locked in. We've seen Dylan Cease, last year have one bad inning, but then lock in and be damn near unhittable. All right, and Dane Dunning came in. He had that one bad pitch, that one bad inning, but other than that, I mean, his breaking stuff was nasty. His breaking stuff was biting, man. Yes,
that's
dude, that was disgusting.
Listen, for a second, I thought Bobby Jinks was back. I said,
the big hammer on him.
Like, so I said, before he said it was 12-6, I was like, damn, that looked like a 12-6 right there. I was doing something. I was like, that looked like a 12-6 for like it dropped. I said, whoa, when he threw that one. I said, all right, kiddo, I see you. I see you. One thing I have to say, and I don't know if I can believe yet, and I'm a huge fan of Kopech necessarily locking in, and it was funny that you mentioned him. I've been thinking about him watching that Dunning game, and it just made me start thinking about, like, man, with him opting out of this year, what are some of the things that are going on in his head? Is it just one of those things where, all right, this was just him being precautious, or do we have to worry about him being flighty? And I hate to bring that. I mean, you hate to try to judge someone's mental faculties because you don't know, and I'm not an expert. You know what I'm saying? And it also can come off as necessarily being insensitive. You know what I'm saying, to do something like that, or ignorant too. Since, like I say, I'm not an expert. But I just wonder, because Coop alluded to it when he opted out, that he wonders if, it's just all in his head. And then kind of you see the White Sox kind of like, shh, be quiet or whatever. What was the what's the pitcher? I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank. Used to pitch for the Royals. Had a great career out there with the Dodgers. Went down there to Phoenix. What's the he won a Cy Young at least 2. He used to have when he was with the Royals, he was afraid of playing in big cities and stuff like that. I'm telling you, he's one of the best pitchers in the last 10 years. I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah, me too.
I'm drawing a blank on who. But anyway, the point that I'm making is I just wonder if he may be in the same line as him. And then, there's the things that you can get over, but this is a guy that we're looking to be a front of the line starter. So it's just, I'm not trying to make everything seem like everything is fine, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A soccer fan and kind of look at it with a eye that's not just everything is peachy keen.
Well, we got to go to break, but I'll end on this. And let's not forget that he had the divorce. So a lot that was
with a baby
happened like that. It didn't just happen like that. So that was, I guarantee you that was part of the decision. So I don't see him as flighty. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so I'll stay in that, especially since he had the divorce. So if there was no divorce, then I might have a different view on it. But I think that's a big factor in it.
That could definitely be it.
Well, listen, there he is, the old Hawkaroo. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to have more White Sox talk with our man Buzz himself, Brad Squires from the On Tap Sportsnet, talking White Sox baseball. And we're going to ask him about the Bulls, number 4 pick. Getting a number 4 pick in the draft because he covers the Bulls as well for the On Tap Sportsnet. So don't go anywhere, folks. Brad Squires, Buzz himself, coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
That ball seeking the corner. It's got the height. It's got the distance, and it is gone.
White Sox radio with the call. Tim Anderson doing it again. Part of a 9-0 rout over the Tigers. Big day for Lucas Giolito. He matched his career best with 13 strikeouts over 7 innings. The win pulls his record to 2-2. Anderson's 4th inning homer was his 6th of the season, 4th of the series. 8 hits and 7 RBI for the shortstop over the 4-game run. Now it's on to a series with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Cubs had Thursday off. Tonight it'll be John Lester, 2-0, starting against 3-2 Dallas Keuchel. The Cardinals beat the Reds 5-4, finally back home at Busch Stadium. Colton Wong with an RBI single, capping a 3-run rally in the 9th. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select 1-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And it's TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby, and I'm fired the freak up. We're going to continue our crosstown preview with my man, a good friend of the program. He works for the OnTap Sportsnet. He actually covers the White Sox and the Bulls. So we're going to ask him a little Bulls questions toward the end of the interview. But you can find him on Twitter at BuzzOnTapGuy. Just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Brad Squires. Brad, what's up, buddy? How are you?
What it do, baby? Man, I'm on cloud 9 right now, bro.
I know you got
9 right now,
dude. You got a lot going on, man. You just moved back into your old neighborhood where you grew up, so the kids can live right down the street from Grandpa. You're doing good. The White Sox are on a 5-game winning streak. The Bulls got the number 4 pick. Things are pretty good for you over there, huh?
Oh man, it's been awesome. You know, my wife is being induced today.
No way.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I told her, she was like, well, you got to leave at about 10 o'clock from the office. I said, no, I got to do Shawn and Maya, and then we'll go. And then I'll leave the office. I'll go home and we'll do what we got to do. So she's going to have to wait so we can talk some sports real quick because I'm going to be in a hospital waiting for the baby to be born during the Crosstown Cup here. So she's going to have to, marriage is about compromise. She's going to have to compromise a little bit here.
Hey, do you know if it's a boy or girl?
It's a girl. I'm having another girl, man. Yep.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you, man. This is it too. I like my lifestyle. I like to be able to go to games and have my season tickets for the Bears and the Bulls and hit up any Sox games that I want. So this is it. No more 2 girls. We're in my what is hoped to be my forever house. She makes me move again. I've moved 3 times since I've been 30. Next year. Done with that. Done moving. This is it.
Dude, that's great stuff. Well, man, let's talk about today, man. We're excited. One of the things we're talking about, one of the guys we're talking about is Eloy. First of all, he's got a button up there. Give us one more button because he's showing too much like Dirk Diggler. All right. But secondly, the thing about it, he's going oppo. My man is going oppo a lot. And when he starts going opposite field, this guy can be an extremely, extremely dangerous cat. Talk to me a little bit about Eloy.
Eloy took a walk yesterday. I believe he took 1 walk yesterday. I want to see his on-base percentage climb a little bit more. I think we all do. As far as him putting the bat on the ball, he's putting it together with a little bit more consistency. He battled an injury when he had an injury earlier in the year, and then, his miscues in the field. But we know what he's going to bring behind the plate. So, I mean, if he's hitting the ball out Oppo Taco, I'm not going to complain. He's been on fire the last few games. And it's been, 6 games in a row now. He's been just absolutely in fuego. So I'm going to keep taking that and riding it. I mean, the Sox are in a really good spot right now. They're on a 5-game winning streak. You got debatable our ace up on the mound today. I know we all love Lucas here, no doubt about it. But Dallas Keuchel's been nothing but a model of consistency. So, if the bats stay hot and Eloy can, rise to the occasion like he seems to do against his former club, I think we're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, we are. And Giolito yesterday was on. That was that Cy Young Award performance that he had all of the first half of last season. I mean, he was just untouchable. He threw I forgot who it was. He threw my man 5 straight changeups, and it finally got him out. He was just in another zone. And talk to me about him, because now if he can stay this healthy, I mean, this consistent. We know what Keuchel's a cagey vet who's gonna shut things down. And then when Kopech comes back, Dylan Cease looking good. Dane Dunning the other day looked good. Talk to me about this rotation, man. This rotation moving forward as our championship window is opening.
Well, as far as Lucas Giolito goes, I've been on record saying this, and I get a lot of heat for it on Twitter because, obviously our prize free agent signing, as we all know, was Yasmani Grandal. But Lucas Giolito found all of his success last year with who? With James McCann.
Yep.
So you see a 13 strikeout performance yesterday from Lucas Giolito, and who's catching him? James McCann. So I think that's just a marriage that you don't want to break up right now. I mean, it seems that Lucas is the most comfortable when he's behind the plate. It seems like McCann knows him like the back of his hand, can call these pitches, knows where Lucas can put them, and knows that Lucas will be effective while throwing them. So he's been nothing short of good great with McCann behind the plate. And I think that Ricky needs to play that up as much as he can. If you want to get Yaz in the lineup that bad when Lucas is pitching, then you DH him or you put him at first base or something like that. That's what needs to happen. This is a sprint. We are sprinting a marathon right now. So you do whatever you need to do to win these ball games. And if your ace pitcher is more comfortable with having McCann behind the plate, then that's what you need to do. So as far as Lucas goes, keep McCann behind the plate with him. I think he's going to be fine. Like you said, and I said, Dallas Keuchel, model of consistency. Dylan Cease, he was good in his other start that he had the other night. He's got to get more control. I don't know what the issue is with that. I keep hearing Coop will fix him. I've been hearing that for 73 years, so I'm kind of done hearing that. He's got to kind of figure it out here. We can't have these mistakes. I'm hoping Dane Dunning gets another shot because I don't know if you guys were able to catch that game. What was that, on Tuesday night or Wednesday night? The Casey Mize versus Dane Dunning game. That was probably the best pitching performance, pitcher against pitcher I've watched in a long time.
In a while, yeah.
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed that game. It was fantastic. Our pitching is questionable, but if our offense can stay hot and, our pitchers don't let up as many runs as our offense is producing, obviously we're coming away with dubs, and that's what we need to keep doing.
You know what? One thing that I wanted to ask you, and you talked about it a little bit, and I always watch the Sox and I think about the future because this isn't necessarily the season, but I was thinking about McCain and also just how his hitting has got back to the beginning of last season. And then I start to think about him and Giolito and how well they work together. But can you afford, and it also depends on him because he probably is going to want to be the backstop more often than getting spot duty with Yasmani Grandal here. But with Zach Collins still being a guy that – also, Zach Collins played well this past week. But with Zach Collins being a guy that's cheaper, do you see them at the end of the season, if they had the opportunity to keep McCann going after him, said just for Giolito and also because he's a pretty good bat, or do you see them probably just letting him go because it's not reasonable after you sign Yasmani Grandal to as much money as you signed him to?
It might not be reasonable, bud. And the only reason I say that is how much money you're going to tie up into somebody you might consider as a backup catcher. James McCann, let's be honest, he was great in the beginning of last year. He earned himself his first ever All-Star nod. He's coming into this year. He's super hot, but we saw him completely fall off in the second half of last year. I mean, it was like a different guy. Can you justify giving him a little bit of a larger contract because of, we'll say that he's been good in the first half of 2 seasons?
It's like Paul Canerco, basically.
Well, whoa. Come on, guy. It's my day today. Stop it. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to, retain McCann if it's possible, dude. But at the end of the day, Collins isn't the answer. He's not that great of a catcher defensively. That's for damn sure. And, for him being a left-handed bat, we haven't got to see a lot. We hear about a lot of patience with Zach Collins. Maybe sometimes it's too patient. He's swinging at bad pitches, but he's not the answer back there. I will say, I'll give him credit, though. He caught Dunning fantastic the other night. And, it's funny to me is that Ricky put Collins as a catcher for Dane Dunning, but he won't do it for Giolito and McCann. I don't understand that, but I guess that's why I work where I work, and I'm not a manager of an MLB team.
Guys, we're joined by Brad Squires from the On Tap Sports Net, talking little White Sox baseball in the Crosstown preview right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. When Luis Robert gets back, and we're hoping he's back for this series, where would you like to see him bat? Because he's this guy, as he moves on, he's not going to be a number 7 hitter. Okay, Tim Anderson seems to be having this leadoff spot on lock. Okay, because I was telling Kenneth, I'm like, how many times am I going to see Jose Abreu drive in Tim Anderson and Yoan Moncada? Which is the answer to that is never too much. But where would you like to see Robert hit? Because since Tim Anderson has that leadoff spot locked, and that's where Robert has been most comfortable or been playing the majority of his career, he's not going to take that from Tim. Not if you keep winning. Where would you like to see him when he gets back and as this team progresses?
Well, they're probably going to ease him back in, Shawn. So I'd say he probably bats 7, but I would like to realistically see him 5 right now. Edwin Carcion still struggling behind the plate. Yeah, he's got tremendous power, but so does Luis Robert. Yasmani Grandal, whenever he shows back up, yeah, he's got some power, but he's been struggling, behind the plate. He's been struggling at the plate right now. So I'd like to see Luis Robert move up to 5. I want to get him as many at-bats as we possibly can. The guy's got power. The guy's got speed. You get him on in front of either Yaz or Edwin, and if he just hits a double, you got speed on the base pass. So that's what I kind of dig. I would like to see him bat 5, which would be right behind Eloy. Keep, Abreu at the 3, Eloy 4. I'd like to see that, but again, it's Ricky Renteria. He'll probably bat 8th. I don't know. I'm so out on that. He's made me so irritated throughout, with some of the decisions he's made this season. Again, I don't want to judge too much because obviously that's his job and I work here, so I don't, but as a longtime baseball fan and a guy who studies the game, I think that I would put him at 5 right now because the top of the order right now between Tim Anderson, Yoan Moncada, Jose Abreu, and Eloy, those guys are just tearing the cover off the ball. I'd love to have Luis Robert right behind him because he was doing the same thing.
Let me ask you this real quick, getting back just to that lineup, because one thing that I've been thinking about, since Shawn, as you mentioned, that you wanted to put the Panther at the top. And at first I was kind of like, no. One thing that I've been thinking about, and this is not this season, but for the longer run, you probably could put the Panther at the top. And with the way that you have Tim Anderson hitting, he may be pretty good being that second guy because, one, he can get Eloy over and he can get it all over the field. And at first I didn't necessarily think that way, but now with how well Tim Anderson is as a hitter, I'm like, he'd probably be pretty sweet being that guy that's the second guy up, that one has to help move that other guy over, but also just if he gets on base, he can be disruptive also. So in the long standing, where would you put Robert, I guess is the question that I'm asking you, Buzz.
Moving forward, I'd like to see him be leadoff eventually. I believe in the juju, and I think that if we move Tim away from what he's doing right now, it makes me nervous. But in the future, I think I'd like to see, probably, in my humble opinion, it would be Luis Robert, Tim Anderson, Yoan Moncada. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Because, Moncada, obviously we know Moncada's got the power. Obviously, he's great with runners in scoring position. We know what he can do. So that might be for the future. But for the rest of this season, until Tim gives me a reason not to want to see him lead off, the dude's OBP is stupid. It's like unbelievable. It's like 415 or something. He's batting like 379. It's unbelievable. If I know I'm going to get him on base right off the bat and I'm going to bring Yoan Moncada and Abreu up after, I'm just going to keep riding that out in this sprint of a season here towards, the 60-game mark.
Guys, we're joined by Brad Squires from the On Tap Sports Net, talking Chicago White Sox baseball. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Tim Anderson was on a podcast recently the other day, and he talked about what he would like to see. Give me your thoughts. He said he would love to see Lewis Robert number 3. He said basically just slide everyone down. So Tim Anderson number 1, Yohan Moncada number 2, Lewis Robert number 3. He said because all those guys have power and speed at the top of the lineup. And then Moncada 4, Eloy 5, and just go. Give me your thoughts on that particular lineup.
I also think that would be an excellent lineup. Luis Robert kind of still is swinging at those breaking balls, especially the slider. Yeah, especially the sliders outside the zone there. So. Again, like Tim said, eventually he would like to see that happen, and anything that dude says is gold to me. So if Tim Anderson thinks that's the way to go, then I'm gonna side with Tim Anderson all day long, man. You know, if he thinks that's the way to do it, then that's the way to do it. Like I said, I can't question him. What he's doing right now, he has undoubtedly taken. You know, and please, for anybody watching this and listening to us here on SportsZone Chicago, please don't get in my mentions and talk about defensive runs saved. For the love of God, I get it. I get Javi Baez is pretty good on defense, but I mean Tim Anderson has taken the best shortstop in Chicago over at this point in time, and that's not debatable. It's not debatable. So anything he says, I'll ride with that, man. I can dig it.
Boy, you hear that, Ivan? I bet Ivan is somewhere in the production room just fretting after you just said that. And disrespect that. Talk that talk, Brad. Talk that talk.
He's like, I can't stand this buzz guy.
There's one thing is I always give respect to Tim Anderson because I said he's a straw that stirs the drink when it comes to the White Sox. That's who he is. But as far as today is concerned, I can give a damn about Tim Anderson.
You see, we're gonna have to go get Ivan a towel so he can wipe that sweat off his brow a little bit there. He's getting scared.
So Brad, so talk to me real quick. One of the things I wanted to, there's an issue with Lewis Robert for me, and he's done it twice now, and it's bothersome. Do you think it could be a problem down the road where he's gone in front of a couple of people? He did it for Leori one time in right center, and Leori is like, dude, I took like 5 steps, and you came 60 yards to catch it. Then the other day he stood, and we saw, and there are tons of memes on social media with Eloy just standing there with his look like, dude, it's mine. You know, could that be a problem? Because I know you could cover everything from the Wisconsin to the Indiana border. I know it. But don't you have? Could that be a problem with disrespecting his teammates in the future?
As far as the Lurie thing goes, I mean, I think that was like a one-time deal. Lurie kind of laughed it off, but I think that's just a rookie being a little bit overzealous. I don't know if it'll become a problem, especially if Luis Robert pans out to be what we all want him to be, because he could just tell, as much as I love Lurie and shout out Johnny Nani, this is Johnny Nani's guy. He loves Lurie Garcia, but Lurie's very easily replaceable. So I don't care if Lurie Garcia is upset that Luis Roberts stole a ball from him, and then if Eloy gives him any slack, we'll show Eloy highlights of him crashing into a wall or getting caught in a net.
Right. Listen, real quick, so let me jump in on this. This is Shawn right here, and I thought about Shawn. You know that Robert is just playing, and you see the same thing with Yohan Moncada and with Tim Anderson, where I don't know whose it is. But this is you being wrong, Shawn. You know why? Because what did Robert do right after he took the ball from Eloy Jimenez that you got on him for not doing, Shawn? He had a huge grin on his face. So now him out there bucking. So now when he finally has a grin on his face, you upset about him having a grin on his face. You're wrong. You're wrong with that. Listen, I don't know. You may be undercover from the north side right now. I don't know.
That's fighting word, Ken.
I thought when he turned around and had that big grin on his face, I said, I wonder what Shawn have to say about that now. And then you're going to get on him for that and bring that up here in this interview with Brad, man. It's hard. It's hard on brothers out here in these streets.
Oh man, you know what? I just don't want it to be an issue. I want, as long as Eloy's not running to the wall, then I'm okay. Because
that's what I mean, though. Shawn, is like, if hypothetically say that Eloy did get upset about that, and if I'm not. If I am the manager, I'm like, well, bro, I mean, like, let's look at the track record here. You almost killed yourself twice last year, and then this year you became known as one of the worst defensive plays in left field that anybody's ever seen. Like, you could have had that ball, but for some reason you decided to jump in the net and try to do like a Rey Mysterio 619 and spin around and do all this weird stuff. Like, you know, if he doesn't trust you to catch the ball, then give him a reason to trust you to catch the ball and make the play.
Right. I totally agree with that. You're playing too much out there. Like, show him up. He needs to be a little bit. All right, because he's out there playing.
Okay.
So
I can go with that.
Yeah. When we gonna do this basketball though, man? Come on, let's do this basketball before he gets up out of here and you get rid of me.
Hey, Buzz. So how talk to me? The Bulls get the number 4 pick in the draft. How pumped up, or excited, or non-excited are you?
Oh, dude, we were super stoked. So we did a live last night on Twitter. It was me, some of the writers over at On Tap Sportsnet that cover the Bulls. We had Keith Franz, Bulls Scripted, with us, who's the co-host of Bulls on Tap podcast with myself. And then we had a good buddy of ours, Matt Berkland, who that came and just joined us. And we just did like a little round table. We were sitting there waiting to see, what was going to happen. And when 7 was announced, and then they said Detroit Pistons, this clip is on Twitter. We all lost it. I mean, it could have been the whiskey that like hyped me up even more than I already was. But I mean, I was on cloud 9. I'm basically after the firing of Jim Boylan last week. And I had that article in the chamber at On Tap Sportsnet since April. Or maybe, yeah, I was like, I had it waiting that, as soon as it happened, I can just hit the publish button and then let it fly. But after that happened, I'm super stoked they got the 4th pick. AK slipped up a little bit. I mean, not bad, but he just said, he was like, I kind of wish it was in the top 3. But hey, we're in the top 4. This draft is very intriguing because you don't know what Golden State's going to do. I really don't know what Minnesota's going to do. They have some guard options over there. I've been pretty vocal in my want of either LaMelo Ball or Denny Advija. I can't say his last name. Vaja, whatever his last name is. I'll try. But I've been pretty vocal with wanting those guys just because they're both bigger dudes. At 6'7", I believe LaMelo is. He's a point guard. He's very, very crafty, passing the ball, initiating offenses. He does have a lot to work on. He does have a little bit of a broken jump shot like his brother Lonzo does. Lonzo did, get better as time has gone on. Not in the bubble so much, but when the regular season was going, Lonzo was a problem for some people. And then as far as Denny, played in Israel. He's 6'9". He can control the pace of the floor. He's decent at staying in front of you defensively. His shot has improved. Our shout out to our buddy Josh J. Bulls Hoops for On Tap Sportsnet. Kid lives in New Zealand, lives in breezy NBA. In the last 2 months of Denny playing, he was shooting 37% from deep, so that's something good to see. So those two are guys that I'm really looking at to see what happens if the Bulls decide to trade down, which has been mentioned. Basically, this time, I'm not going to throw a fit about whoever they draft. I'm not going to question Arturas Karnisovas or Mark Eversley at this point. These guys have a proven pedigree of choosing good players, of being in good, well-run front offices. I'm not going to question them at all. It's not like when we were sitting at the draft party, Shawn, in 2018, and they took Wendell Carter Jr., and I had a conniption fit. I thought I was going to die. When you let Michael Porter Jr. go and everybody's like, oh, well, his back injury. Like, knock it off. Knock it off. You got to shoot for the stars at some point instead of these safe picks. I'm hearing a lot of Obi Toppin. That one I might have a heart attack for. I'm not going to question. I'm trying not to question him. But if they do go with that kid out of Dayton, Obi Toppin, I'm going to kind of lose it. I don't want another hybrid who can't defend. I don't want that. I want somebody that can control the pace of the floor. We have shooters. Wendell can step out and hit a midi, okay? We know what Lowry can do. We know what Zach can do. We saw his off ball. Moving without the ball last year, I think all of us here can admit it. He was like a new guy moving without the ball as well as having the ball in his hands. So where we need to go is, I think, a playmaker. But again, I will not question AK. Whatever he chooses to do, I'm going to support it because it's a new time. It's a new front office. So,
Brad, let me ask you this. Both players that you mentioned, neither the ball doesn't stick to any of their hands. That was one thing you kept hearing about Denny, is that the ball is going to move outside of the limitations of, like, he's not an athlete, but definitely he's a player. He's a player that actually you saw if the Bulls picked 7, that people had him fall to the Bulls if he was still on the board. Let me ask you this. If LaMelo and Denny are gone, who are your next 2 guys, at least, that you would prefer the Bulls to draft in this draft?
Killian Hayes probably is one of them. I'd have to say Killian Hayes. I don't know, man. I'm so friggin' sold right now on Denny and LaMelo that it's hard for me to come up with another name. It's just because I know that one of those guys are going to be there at 4. I don't want to draft another big, dude. I really don't want to draft another big. That'd be 3. What would that be? 3 times in the last 4 years that we drafted.
4 years,
yeah. I can't. I can't fathom that.
Even with Wiseman's ceiling, we know he didn't really get to play at Memphis. But and there's been if you look at his stats compared to some other players that came out stats, it could be disheartening. But would you fear out on missing if he is really a beast and you didn't pick him and you had the option to take Wiseman?
Well, that's the thing, though, bro. I don't think he makes it out of the top 3.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think he makes it out of the top 3. I know, obviously, it's going to be Anthony Edwards. I think we all know that. He's going either 1 or 2. And then, I mean, I've seen as many mock drafts as saying that James Wiseman can go in the top 3 as well. I mean, you have a couple other choices. The kid from Iowa State, I always forget his damn name. I don't know why. And then, God, who is the kid from Iowa? Tyrese Halliburton?
Tyrese Halliburton, yeah.
Yeah, out of Iowa State. A lot of people are talking about him. Devin Vassell from Florida State, people are talking about him. It's just, I guess that I've been just so dove deep into everything that I kind of made up my mind on my 2 players. But again, I am supporting AK. That is what I need to tell myself moving forward. No questioning. It's not like Gar and Pax are out here taking Marquise Teague over Will Barton again. It's just it's a new day out here, and I'm just going to keep riding with it.
Guys, he's Brad Squires from the On Tap Sportsnet. Hey, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. And thanks for your time, because I know you got some stuff going on over there. Let everyone know where they can find you online.
Go to Twitter. You can find me at Buzz on Tap. You can find our work for the White Sox at Sox on Tap. You can find our work for the Bulls at Bulls on Tap. And you can go to ontapsportsnet.com.
Great stuff, buddy. Again, congratulations, you and the wife for your second child. And we'll talk soon, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Safe delivery.
Thanks, man. You guys take care.
All right. Guys, that was Brad Squires from the On Tap Sportsnet. I appreciate him taking time out. His wife's getting induced today for their second child. Great stuff. Yeah, Buzz. I love Buzz, man. He just doesn't. He's just raw and unfiltered, man. And I love it. I'm
semi-hyped. It seems like the luck has changed. Reading what Arturi is saying as far as, look, I'm not looking at this like, all right, we need a point guard or a small forward. I'm getting the best dude out. Listen, stack this roster like y'all stack Denver's roster. Keep adding those guys, and just, I know it's not mile high and the air's not thin here in Chicago. Still run their asses out the gym. All right, like keep run their asses out the gym. Go ahead, Ivan.
Kenneth, just like Ryan Pace's ass should have been best player available. That's what Arturo should be doing. Best player available, like you said, stack that roster with talent.
But he's done it. So don't act like make sure to say he's. Remember, don't tell him he's already done it. See, Ryan Pace didn't do it. He's already done it in Denver, so he knows what works. So he's gonna. So we, that's why Buzz is like, okay, if AK is going with him, I'm gonna ride with him, because when you get someone who's done it already and now he's just gonna do it again here, now I have more confidence. Buzz has more confidence. I think you guys have more confidence because he's done it already.
Yes.
Pace hadn't done it, and he's just been a knucklehead. So if we can get we know what I want. I want Derrick Rose at Memphis. I want Derrick Rose at Memphis, where it's like 5 in, 5 out, and you're like, damn, some more blue chip. There's 4 out of 5 blue chippers coming in the second unit. It's like, my goodness, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'm looking for, man, and I can't wait. It's a new time for us Bulls fans, where we can all unite. Ivan, we've got big hug for you right here. We're talking Bulls. We're all good. So it's definitely a good time for us. Ivan's on fire today. I ain't scared of you, man.
Yes, he is.
Hey, well, we got to take a break. Hey, Kenneth, thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate it, man. As always, we'll see you on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Hey, stay inside. It's too hot for you. And
it is. Be safe, though. Hope y'all be safe.
Will do. Hey, at the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little Cubs. So Ivan's going to be happy. He'll be on the screen more with Annie Cruz Vanasek. She writes for Bleed Cubby Blue, an SB Nation site dedicated solely to Cub fans. So don't go anywhere. Andy Cruz Vanasek up next on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
That ball seeking the corner. It's got the height. It's got the distance, and it is gone.
White Sox radio with the call. Tim Anderson doing it again. Part of a 9-0 rout over the Tigers. Big day for Lucas Giolito. He matched his career best with 13 strikeouts over 7 innings. The win pulls his record to 2-2. Anderson's 4th inning homer was his 6th of the season, 4th of the series. 8 hits and 7 RBI for the shortstop stop over the 4-game run. Now it's on to a series with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Cubs had Thursday off. Tonight it'll be John Lester, 2-0, starting against 3-2 Dallas Keuchel. The Cardinals beat the Reds 5-4, finally back home at Busch Stadium. Colton Wong with an RBI single, capping a 3-run rally in the 9th. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330-95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select one-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or cup curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. So we just got done with the White Sox perspective of this Crosstown Classic that's going up on the north side tonight, 7 o'clock. So let's get a north side perspective. So we have a good friend of the program. I was fortunate to meet her at the Cubs Fest, actually outside of Cubs Fest at G-Man Bar this past year, earlier this year. And man, she's in a small world. We actually know quite a few of the same people, even though she's from the Sterling and Dixon area. But crazy small world. She writes for the to co-host a Cup of Cubby Blue. You can find her on Twitter at BRYZ_blue. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Andy Cruz Vanasek. Andy, what's up? How are you?
Hey, Shawn. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am wonderful. It's going to be a nice hot weekend for some good baseball here in the Chi. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited. This is surely going to be a series that is going to go down to the wire, I think, probably every at-bat, every pitch. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
One of the topics that we did this morning on our Top of the Morning segment was who's hotter. All right, the Cubs, you're in first place. You got the second best record in baseball. The White Sox have a 5-game winning streak. So who has the advantage going in? And it's really it's tough to tell. It's really, really tough to tell.
I mean, I'm going to be real honest with you. So we just recorded an episode of Cup of Cubby Blue this morning, and I gave you guys all the credit in the world. You guys are coming off a really good series. You just took all 4 games from Detroit and won yesterday 9-0, which obviously is a lot of offense for you guys, which scares me a bit because definitely our offense has been very streaky, very back and forth. I mean, you're going to see that in baseball. This is just such a weird season. You kind of would hope you would see less of it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, our bats, they were really hot for a while. They cooled off quite a bit. Against the Cardinals, we had so many bases loaded opportunities that we just couldn't capitalize on. So that's always a concern. You want, pretty much from top to bottom of your lineup to be able to come in and produce and at least manufacture a run or two in situations like that. And it's just really hard to feel like we're going to come in and be hot. But I mean, looking at us on paper, we have some very, very strong talent that hopefully will, if one guy is having an off game, the next guy is going to pull through. So it'll be interesting. Well,
you ain't too bad. You got the second best record in baseball, and you had the best record in baseball for a while. So you guys are doing something right.
I said this a podcast or two ago that, I feel spoiled, honestly, as a Cubs fan. I feel spoiled because all we were doing was asking for baseball. We definitely were not asking for a start like this. And so, yeah, it's been awesome to watch them start at the pace that they've started. Good picture, by the way. It's been awesome to watch them do that. And it's definitely important when they're going to come down and face teams like the Cardinals, who always play us tough. Milwaukee, who took 2 of 3 from us, or 3 of 4 from us, playing the White Sox, who is a very hot, young, upcoming team. You want to have a good hot start, a record you can fall back on in the case that, our bats don't show up this weekend.
I'm anxious to today's game, just to see Dallas Keuchel, John Lester, 2 KG veterans, 2 guys who've won World Series. I think it's going to be a phenomenal, I hope it's a phenomenal pitcher's duel. Like I could go for a 2-hour game and, 2 hits on one side, 3 hits on the other side, 1-0, 0-0, 2-1, something like that, because there's nothing better than a pitcher's duel. How do you think your boy John Lester is going to come out? Because I know it's a crosstown and it's a big game, but you pitched in the World Series, so it doesn't get to that level, but it still is a very intense game.
Right. Well, I have to say, you and I exchanged text messages last night and kind of talked about this, but I was rooting for y'all last weekend against the Cardinals, and Dallas Keuchel had kind of a rough outing against the Cardinals, and or was it Giolito? Keuchel, actually, you guys won that game. Giolito had the rough outing, but for the most part, this is definitely a matchup that I am very much looking forward to. It kind of feels like throwback matchup. Lester he's been the workhorse that he's always been in this rotation. He's just slid back a couple of starts, as far as I think he's now the 3rd or 4th starter in a rotation. Yeah, which is good for me. He's still producing at a level and turning out solid quality starts for this team. He's 2-0. He's always going to give you a very strong outing. He's somebody that is very well versed in all different situations. He knows, the level of rivalry with Cubs and White Sox. So yeah, he's going to be jacked. He's going to be amped up, ready to go out there. And, he's somebody that he's got a very good poker face. Like, you don't really, he does tend to show emotion, when it's a big game situation, that sort of thing. And he's fiery. If he's not getting the calls that he wants, you're going to see it on his face. You're going to see his reaction to the umpire. But, I look for him to come out, and pitcher's duel could definitely be on the menu for this matchup. But it also, he's also given up hits here and there. And the good thing is, this year our defense is much improved. So that's not necessarily a bad thing.
So who do you pick? Give me your, to use a Sox phrase, pick to click. Who do you think is going to step up this series for the Cubs? You think it's Javi? You think it's Rizzo? Do you think it's Contreras? Who do you think is going to come up and have a pretty good weekend for you guys?
That's such a great question, because we've kind of been all over the board on who's had good series and who's had good games and the matchups and everything else. Wilson Contreras is somebody that has scuffled quite a bit, that we need him to be a solid producer, somebody that it kind of finds his rhythm and gets into that consistent level. And he's somebody that loves playing the White Sox. As you can see his stats from last year against the White Sox, he's done really well, had some great games. My co-host Sarah Sanchez is a huge Wilson Contreras fan, and she reminded me of the game where he hit a grand slam in the 1st inning against the White Sox, and that was like the end of it. I think he ended up hitting 2 home runs that game, something ridiculous.
Yeah, she reminded me of how big of Contreras fan when she was on last week. She goes, "Oh my gosh," she goes, "That is right up my alley. He's my favorite."
Yes, I was going to say that's definitely a Sarah question, a Sarah answer. But so we look to him to maybe get heated up a little bit. The one thing I think is going to be key for our lineup is how Javi Baez does. He's definitely been struggling at the plate. You would never know it by, still how fun and youthful he is. He doesn't wear that frustration, and he doesn't wear, he feels like he should be doing more. Obviously, he's a star in this lineup. So I really look for him to come out and have this be a series where his bat kind of wakes up, where he figures it out. And I look forward to him contributing. Now, Rizzo, I feel like he's been pretty much consistent since the start of the season, which is unlike him. But I think the fact that this is a shortened season and we have such little time to do what we need to do, has turned these players into a different mindset, into a different approach. And I think Rizzo is one that is capitalizing on that. And I definitely look for him to have a good series as well.
Guys, we're talking with Andy Cruz Vanasek from Bleed Cubby Blue and SB Nation site, talking little Cubs baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning. Yeah, I'm really scared. Javi Baez is batting 189, and this is the perfect time for him to come out of a slump. And that scares me because if he comes out of a slump, you guys, baseball knows it, but you Cub fans know it specifically. He can change the course of a series or even the season. If he starts getting hot at the plate, because his defense doesn't go anywhere, it's still top notch Gold Glove caliber. But if he starts doing stuff that he did before the last couple of years in his MVP run at the plate, it could be very scary for us White Sox.
He's definitely somebody that can change the trajectory of a game in just, one at bat, or getting on the base one time, because Lord knows he's a magician when it comes to base running. He just, he forces defenses into errors, into trying to, do something that they just can't do. Oh gosh, he's so pretty. Isn't he so pretty? I love Javi. He is, and the thing about him is he's such a great, some would say he's the face of the Cubs because he is such a great,
I would agree with that.
Young, youthful spirit. He's somebody that puts hustle into everything he does. There was a situation at the beginning of the season that I think David Ross handled masterfully. And it was a situation where Javi Baez had a hit up the right field line and it looked like it was going to be foul, but it was like right on the line. And he very easily could have had a double had he ran right out of the box. And he did not. He ended up with a single. And you could tell by the look on his face that he was disappointed in himself for not running that out. And later the media asked David Ross, how did you approach that? Did you feel like that was something that you needed to address? And he's like, things like that. These are grown men that have been playing this game for a long time. I don't need to approach anything. He knew what should have happened. His teammates will do their job as far as reminding them what needed to happen. It won't happen again. And, it hasn't. He's been hustling. He's been definitely his defense. Do I even need to say anything about that? It's ridiculous. I watched him throw a guy out from shallow left field a couple games ago. He's a star, and he's not going to bat 189 the whole season. Everybody that knows him as a baseball player knows that.
So this could be a matchup of wits when it comes to managers, and I think we're definitely at a disadvantage at that particular point. But talk to me, because you mentioned him a few moments ago. Talk to me, man. Ivan has all the pictures ready today, boy. Talk to me about Grandpa Rossi and how big, because I haven't had a chance. You and I haven't talked. So how big of an impact is he making on his team? Because the one thing that you guys are doing is you're back to the fundamentals. You're taking batting practice every day. That was optional in last year, Joe. You're taking fielding practice. That's not optional. These are all things. He rules with an iron fist, but it's like a not so hard iron fist, because maybe it's the relationship that he had with the players beforehand. But how big of an impact is it, and how much do you attribute this 16-8 record to Grandpa Rossi?
Well, first and foremost, I think his management of the pitching, whether it be starting or the bullpen, I think has been phenomenal. It's something where, like, literally every game you could watch Twitter for how they were going to blow up Joe Madden's move each inning. Like, it was an issue every inning of every game, like how he was managing the bullpen, when he would pull his starter, that sort of thing. With David Ross, I think there's been one time the entire season thus far that people have really questioned a move he made, and it ended up not being a horrible move. It was just something that, do you leave him in? Do you take him out type thing? I think his management of pitching from top to bottom has been phenomenal. And I think that's something that makes a huge difference to not only all of your pitchers throughout, but also your guys on the bench, your guys in the dugout. They're watching you let someone figure it out and let someone get comfortable in where they're at. And, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If a guy is able to give you another batter, if he's, he might be pitching a contact, but you know what, he's getting you outs. And if something like that is happening, there's no reason to pull and use another arm in the bullpen. And I think for me, that's a huge thing. That was something that really needed to be improved upon. I mean, I think just his mentality and the way that he approaches this team, and he lets the guys handle certain things for themselves and steps in when he needs to. I think that has probably really changed the mindset of some of the veteran players on this team.
Ivan, and you just hopped in. I figured you wanted to say something.
No, I thought you were going to reset. I thought you were going to reset coming back in. No. And hi, Andy, first of all.
Hi.
But no, I like what you're saying. My thing was, and I don't know if I want to know if you agree, is that those the aftermath of the World Series, those 3 seasons, 17, 18, 19, I just felt like the way the lax mentality of the Cubs team, that it was affecting it in such a way that they were reverting back to like this lovable loser. You know, even the fans, like, they were reverting back to this lovable loser mentality. Like, oh yeah, they're fine, they'll be okay. It's like, no, they're not. Like, no, wait, no, they're not. They're not okay. And as soon as David Ross came in, I thought there was some skepticism, just because I thought, how is he going to relate to these guys? Being, you know, coming from being your teammate to being gone to coming back, and now I got to be your kind of like authoritarian. But it's just been perfect. It's like these guys respect him. You could see it. You could sense it when they speak about it. There's guys that weren't even on the team in 16 saying how great of a manager he is. I just want to know a little bit more. It's like, how did we – and I love Joe, but it's like, how did we let that go for so long? How did we let that kind of lax? You could show up to the ballpark at game time. You could hit if you want. You know, what was going on there?
Well, I mean, I completely agree with you. Joe Madden is his own animal. He is I think when it comes to certain things in managing, he is his own worst enemy, because I have mad respect for Joe Madden. I love that dude. He brought a World Series to my memory. I mean, it's something that, you know, is irreplaceable, and I would never disrespect him or talk negatively about him. But I think when it comes to styles of managing, I think his style is one that, yes, it's very quirky and different, but I think it's also one that is gradually going to make its way out of the game. If you look at him right now managing the Angels, I mean, they have a ton of talent on paper and not a very good team on the field. So, you know, you hate to see him struggle in situations like that, but then it's starting to become obvious what it is that this team was missing at the helm. And David Ross, I think, brought that fresh perspective. You know, he did. And like he said a million times, you know, he has pulled from all of his favorite managers that he's watched and worked under, and kind of developed his own style, and in a way that the guys that play for him respect him, but at the same time feel appreciation and feel like he's got their back. And, you know, he is somebody that is going to hold you accountable. And accountability, Shawn, I know you and I had discussed this at nauseum previously when we talked about who the Cubs would name their manager, but accountability is so huge. Yep. And honestly, if you even know that there's just a little bit of that coming your way, you are a different player, and you approach things differently, because, you know, if not, somebody, whether or not it's your manager or the veteran players on the team, somebody is going to call you on that. And I feel like David Ross kind of provides the atmosphere that's a little bit more accepted and kind of promoted. So I think that has been a huge deal as far as the clubhouse is concerned, is the accountability and the guys knowing that, you know, this is how it's going to be from now on. And if not, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah. So give me your prediction this weekend. You take 2 out of 3, you sweep, you lose 2 out of 3, you get swept. What's your thought?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, your guys' offense is freaky scary. Like, really, like I'm very nervous about that. And John Lester has been great this year, but we've seen him in previous seasons have games where, you know, he just can't find the ball. He can't find his, you know, he's not hitting his spots. He's leaving balls up, and they're just, he gets rocked around the field. So I'm praying that that's not the start that we get from him. But with the kind of offense that you guys have, you're very similar to the Cubs in the sense, if one guy doesn't hit, the next guy is going to. So, I mean, I honestly, I don't know who TBD is that you guys are throwing on Sunday. So I'm just going to leave Sunday out of it. I'm going to say without Sunday, we split. So until I know who TBD is, I mean, Darvish has been nails. Darvish has been ridiculous. So I don't know that. But again, he's another one that if he's having a bad day where he, you know, can't locate, But I will say for him this season, what I've been watching, he has been one that has worked through it. He may have a rough first inning and too many pitches in the first inning, but then you see him bounce back and really dominate.
Five pitches in the second inning. Like,
right, exactly, exactly.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So I would say. I would like, and I will say that I think the Cubs take 2 of 3, but again, that can swing either direction. I honestly don't see a sweep on either part. I just don't. I mean, both of these teams are both very good, very comparable, and the pitching matchups are going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think we're both in line with that. Taking 2 of 3, and neither team being very dominant. I think it might be a very close series. Tell me about. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought here. Tell me about the Cubs going in with Chris Bryant, because they're going to need Chris Bryant to hit if they want to go ahead and actually take this series. He has been hitting very well, and it's frustrating to see a former MVP with as much talent as he has just not pan out. I mean, is it the leadoff spot? Is it mentally? Is there something else we don't know? Is he injured still? What is it with Chris Bryant?
So he was playing left field during the Milwaukee series and came in, and listen, I love hustle and I love diving and I love dramatic outfield plays. But when you're up, I don't want to say kind of big, but you got a couple run cushion and you have somebody that's really dealing on the mound. I don't love plays where you risk your body to make a play. Like I would prefer you just let the ball drop in front of you and make a solid play into second. He made a diving catch that was a phenomenal catch, but in the process, he bent his wrist back and tweaked his wrist. And we all know that's been an issue for him. Come and go the past couple, last year, and a little bit this season before. So that was alarming to watch. And lo and behold, he ended up getting a cortisone or a steroid shot of some sort in his wrist and was out until now today. Now, I haven't heard if he comes back in the lineup, but honestly, in his absence, and we talked about this morning on Cup of Cubby Blue, Ian Happ has been phenomenal at the leadoff spot. I love him. He is on fire. He is turning into a leader on the field and off. And you can tell he's really starting to settle into that role. And, if David Ross stays consistent in one thing, please let it be. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Like, let's just leave Ian Happ there and work Chris Bryant back into the lineup somewhere else. Let him get comfortable. Let him get his swag back, because right now he just does not have it. And so honestly, it would be nice if he could come into the lineup and do some damage, start back up, start in a place where he can start to build some momentum. But if he doesn't, I mean, we took 3 of 5 against the Cardinals without him. So,
And it's funny that you mentioned Ian Happ, because he's been on fire. I mean, he's just been hitting with runners on. He's been on fire. Everything that you said, he is right now. And I think that's the best case scenario, because the Cubs don't have they didn't have a leadoff man since Dex. They didn't have a center fielder. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it feels like this season, all the worries that we had, the previous couple seasons are starting to kind of like be washed away. And I don't know if it's David Ross coming in, like if he's the Messiah or something like that, but a lot of the problems are being solved because of what they did at the manager spot.
Listen, I'm happy to hand all that credit to David Ross. If that's the route we want to go, I'm good with it. But I agree with you. I mean, Nico Horner is another one that I would watch for in that leadoff spot, because he is definitely somebody that is going to turn into like a Ben Zobrist type of player. He's just so good, and he gives you such great at bats every single time. I mean, even on his foul balls, he is making such solid contact. It's ridiculous. And on some really ridiculous pitches that should not be touched. Yes. So I would watch for Nico Horner to also be kind of worked into that leadoff spot. But Ian Happ is just somebody that he's a contact guy. He's gotten so disciplined at the plate. He's taking walks. I mean, he's hitting home runs in the leadoff spot. He's just all around checking all the boxes. And when that's happening, you got to stay with the hot hand.
Yeah, right now he's batting .315. He's has the highest batting average on the team, and he is pretty dangerous right now for you. So that's one guy that the White Sox are definitely going to have to deal with, because I'm not sure. Like I want us. We need to take those first 2 games, because I'm scared of Darvish. Darvish is the kind of guy, and once he realized that he didn't suck in the World Series, that they were actually cheating, I think that really refocused him, because he was a basket case. He was a basket case. Like, I can't believe I got hit and I got I lost 2 games in the World Series the way I did.
At the top, at the top of the top of the game, you blew it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the highest, on the biggest stage of of professional baseball around the world. I got destroyed 2 games in my 2 starts. Once he came to grips with that they cheated, and Ivan and I had talked about this. We're like, he's gonna have a hell of a year. He's gonna now that he's settled down, and he's scary when he's on his game.
I mean, I don't know if you guys remember. I got 2 things I want to say to that. Last year, he had the most ridiculous streak of innings without a walk, which to me just tells you he is painting all the corners. All his pitches are moving. I mean, this man has over 10 pitches. I mean, that is unheard of. And we're not talking like that he could possibly throw. We're talking 10 pitches that he utilizes in game situations. Like, it's ridiculous. The second thing to that is we've talked a couple times on our podcast about how the Astros, if the Astros had not have cheated and would not have been teeing off on Yu Darvish in the World Series, there is a situation where you look at it as the Cubs don't end up with Darvish because his price tag would have been a lot steeper, I'm guessing. So, as much as I hate all the stuff that happened, there was a lot of wave effects that happened after that, and Yu Darvish coming to the Cubs is one of them. So I appreciate the fact that we ended up with him because he's proving to be the guy that we signed for this ridiculous contract, and he's worth every penny.
Oh yes,
guys, she's Andy Cruz Venasek. You can find her on Twitter at BRYZ_blue, and she hosts Cup of Cubby Blue, and for SB Nation. Hey, great stuff, awesome. Glad we were finally able to get you back on. It was awesome, and we'll be in touch as the season goes on.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All righty. Take care now. Guys, that was Andy Cruz. She's awesome. Awesome. I got to meet her at during Cub Fest, the Cubs convention. I met her and Evan at G-Man after one of the nights. And man, she's awesome. You could just see her bubbly personality. She's just awesome. Great young lady. And she says 2 out of 3. I'm worried. If we don't get the first 2, I think you guys get 2 out of 3. I'm just scared of Darvish.
I think you should be scared of John. I think you should be scared of John, because if you could jump on John Lester, I think going into that second game, or you would be the third game.
Use on Sunday.
Okay, so you would be the third game. So I think you'd fare better or you'd be better off if you won today and worried about John today.
But that's what I'm saying.
Second game, because then you Darvish.
I said if we don't win these first 2, if we split these first 2, I'd be really leery about Sunday, because with Darvish on the bump, I'd be really leery because we don't know who TBD is. If
you win today, you put the pressure on us tomorrow anyway, because it's
right.
We don't want to have Yu Darvish's game be a wash game. We want that to either be the hammer for the sweep or be the one that decides it.
Right. Yeah. So it's going to be. I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. It's the first time. I get excited for these every year, but now that both teams are good, man, this is what we wanted. For a while there was times when we were good and you weren't, and then recently you've been good and we haven't. So now this is a new thing for us, for all Chicagoans. I can't tell you how excited we are. And the only bad thing is that we can't be in the stands. Which means there's no we can't go and invade the north side. You kids can't come to the south side next month and tailgate with us. You know what I mean? That's the thing that would be, because all that ish talking in the parking lots and in the bars is going to be great. Now it's got to be virtual. Listen, we got to take one more break. It's the last break of the show, the last break of the week, and I'm fired up about it. So don't go anywhere. We have Bears conversation. Yes, Bears. Bears coming up next right here. Bears talk. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
That ball seeking the corner. It's got the height, it's got the distance, and it is gone.
White Sox radio with the call. Tim Anderson doing it again. Part of a 9-0 rout over the Tigers. Big day for Lucas Giolito. He matched his career best with 13 strikeouts over 7 innings. The win pulls his record to 2-2. Anderson's 4th inning homer was his 6th of the season, 4th of the series. 8 hits and 7 RBI for the shortstop over the 4-game run. Now it's on to a series with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Cubs had Thursday off. Tonight it'll be John Lester, 2-0, starting against 3-2 Dallas Keuchel. The Cardinals beat the Reds 5-4, finally back home at Busch Stadium. Colton Wong with an RBI single, capping a 3-run rally in the 9th. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select 1-subject notebooks and Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 10 cents each.
Select notebooks and folders for a dime. That really is amazing.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/22. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, like hiring someone who can make a real impact. Indeed can help you find high-impact hires faster, without any long-term contracts, and you pay only for what you need, thanks to our super flexible payment options. So why not take that next step with Indeed? Get started with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. It's our last segment of the day, of the week. A little excited about the way that everything's going to is playing out. Quick text from Annie. Said, "Great time, always a great time. Thanks." I tell you, she's just awesome, and she's awesome. So, funny story is she grew up in Sterling, Illinois, out west. Well, and so she knows. She's gone to school with a guy that I coached with at Curie. He's from Sterling, so we're on one of the posts. She commented on one of my posts or something, and Tyson was like, "How do you know Shawn?" And she's like, "Oh, I was on his show." And so just small world. Yeah. And then funny story. So I'm at CrossFit. I go during the week, and there's a young lady there. Her name is Candace. And we were talking, and I said, where'd you go to high school? She goes, I didn't grow up over here. She goes, I grew up around Dixon. I was like, get the hell out of here. I was like, so you have to know my guy, Benny Boyd. She goes, oh my God, I love Benny. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Benny was Tyson's cousin that he brought around a lot, and he helped coach. He's coaching in college now. But it was just a small world. Like, you just realize how we're separated literally by six degrees of separation with everyone. Just small world. Let's get some Bears talk, because I'm a little fired up about they're back at practice, and the tight end situation is the one that I want to get into a little bit, because it's really going to help out whoever. Andy says she knows Benny too. Benny's a man, dude. Benny, and funny story, Benny and I have the same birthday. We have July 25th. That's hilarious. It's I think I know 4 people with my birthday, same birthday. So Junior, it's Junior, Benny, 725, and Peter and Rick. So 5 people. I have known 5 people, and Walter Payton. So 6 people.
And Walter Payton, right?
And Walter Payton.
Walter Payton, don't forget.
But this tight end position is the one that I'm excited about, man. We haven't had a good tight end since Greg Olson, and he's just shipped off because I don't use tight ends, Mike Martz. So, Jimmy Graham has been a talk of camp to this point. Jimmy Graham has looked younger. He's looked more energetic, and for me, that's huge for me. because you drafted a tight end with your number 1 pick. And when you get a guy who comes in and who's playing a veteran, who's playing with the enthusiasm and the vigor that he's playing with, it's contagious.
Oh, yeah.
It's contagious. And Cole Kmet was a great, local product here. He was the top tight end in the draft. But now when you get the top tight end in the draft working with, alongside an all-pro, and you see him going about his business that way, it shortens the learning curve for Cole Kmet. Saying that, it helps our quarterbacks. We've never had a tight end. Look at all the teams, the Super Bowl champion teams. Most of them have a tight end that is productive. Obviously, Travis Kelce, okay. In New England back in the day, which was crazy. They actually had 2, but Gronk and Aaron Hernandez before Aaron Hernandez was no longer with the team. Good athletic tight ends are key, especially for someone like Mitch. Talk to me on how you think this is going to help, or how you think Jimmy Graham's going to do this year with Mitch or Nick Foles. Because again, I think Nick Foles is going to be the backup. I think Mitch is going to start week 1, and this tight end position could be the reason Mitch keeps his job as the number 1 starter, a starter.
Yeah, I know you're absolutely right. Well, we talked about it before. It's that necessity for the tight end in the Matt Nagy's offense. We thought it was going to be Trey Burton. It wasn't. We tried to, we had like a million tight ends last year, and we could only muster up 91 yards from them. You know what I mean? Like that's been the problem, because there hasn't been a safety blanket. It's one thing if you have a Tariq Cohen. Yeah, that's nice. But we saw how targeted Tariq was last year. They knew he was the guy. They knew if it wasn't 1, 2, 3, it was Tariq, and they keyed in on Tariq every time he was on the field. They keyed in on him. So with this, rejuvenated Jimmy Graham and a young Cole Kmet, who they kind of mirror each other with physique as far as skill set. I think it plays out well for the Bears. If Jimmy Graham could give you the best of his last years, and you could get a guy learning from someone like a Jimmy Graham, I mean, it's the best case scenario. Now, as far as Mitch Trubisky goes, or Nick Foles, I mean, Nick Foles. The thing is about Nick Foles is we only seen him in Philadelphia. We've seen him everywhere else, but we only seen him be successful in Philadelphia. You're coming in quick with no training camp, no preseason games, no anything, and it's hard to get a rapport with your guys. It's going to take a while to get a rapport with your guys. I'm not saying that Mitch has a better connection with Jimmy Graham or a Cole Kmet. He hasn't even it hasn't been year 1 with them. But if you could get a guy like a Mitch Trubisky, someone he could trust right in the middle of the field, someone that's going to be there, a big body who's going to be able to block out and maybe mirror and maybe mask some of the mistakes, the accuracy mistakes that Mitch may have. I mean, that's everything that you asked for last year and the year before.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Cole Kmet and his growth, his progression, his development because of this. Jimmy Graham's only going to be here for a couple of years, and we're still going to need a tight end. This offense needs a tight end. Cole Kmet is the guy that we envision being that dude, right? Which is why we drafted him where we did. And the shorter his learning curve, the better. Because now I'm looking at the New England Patriots style offense that they had before with 2 tight ends. That's a tough matchup to deal with. So do you get a faster DB who might be a little smaller? Okay, well, he can just box them out. Do you get a linebacker? Chances are he can run by them or get separation away from them. Those are two great weapons to have when you have 2 tight ends, as we saw the New England Patriots have. And then it helps in the run game. One can be online, one can be in motion, can be a fullback. I'm really liking this dynamic duo of tight ends, because I think it's just going to make our offense, I wouldn't say prolific, because I need a quarterback that I can trust, but it'll make it more potent. I think it'll make it much more potent. And for me, that's what me and I think all of Bear Nation, we want an offense that's going to be able to score. We want a more potent offense And the two good tight ends really helps take a big step in that direction.
Well, it adds a dimension that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
It adds another phase to this offense, another avenue for this offense to use. You didn't have a good running game. You didn't have any tight end play last year. Of course you struggled. Of course you struggled. You were relying on your receivers and your quarterback to just go ahead and be Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how I saw it. Like you thought he was going to go out there and be Aaron Rodgers, just doing it with whoever's out there. I mean, granted, you have an Allen Robinson. You know what I'm saying? And Anthony Miller was making strides, for the positive later in the year. But you didn't have that. You didn't have another weapon. You didn't have that tight end that you could trust. Now you have two of them. You line up the best. You put the best one on the line, closest to the line, and you with a Jimmy, or you could just kind of rotate them because you never know. Like both of these guys could spread out wide. Both of these guys could run can run well for their size. This is the best case scenario for the Bears coming in at the tight end spot.
I can't think of. I mean, I'm trying to think of the list of tight ends we've had. I mean, Greg Olsen was the last one. Des Clark was okay. John Gilmore was all right. So that has been lacking here in Chicago. So for me, I'm excited about it. This kid he's a hometown guy. The Bears were his team growing up. It's a great story. Now if he can live up to the hype, the first round hype, man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I'm also anxious to see who they're bringing in. CJ Procease, if I'm not mistaken. The Bears are running back out of Notre Dame, who was a game breaker.
He was up in Seattle for a while, but yeah, he was a game breaker. Once he hit the open field, he was gone. But he could receive out of the backfield too. CJ Procease, he was a great receiving back and a great and like I said, he's a one cut and go. If he has it, one cut go and he's gone. Like when he has that lane.
Yeah, he don't dance. He's a catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. I like that. I like if he can come in and be that just a different style or type of running back than David Montgomery, because now you have to worry about him. Because there are times when when you put various people on the field, teams know when your speed is out there. All right, they know who the fast guys are. Defenders know who the fast guys are. When you see 2 or 3 or 4 of them together, on the field at the same time, you're like, oh man, we got. There's a lot of things they can do with switching, with crossing, with going from zone to zone. And you can't screw up. One person misreads the wrong play, and now you got someone deep behind you, and that's 6.
Yeah, and that versatility that you're talking about, that makes the backfield very dangerous. It's a different backfield now. You don't just have a guy that he's the runner, he's the bruiser. Or you have guys that could do it all, and including Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen running the ball. I wouldn't want to see him running between the tackles a lot, but you have running backs now all of a sudden that have different multiple dimensions to their game. Mm-hmm. They're not just a one-trick pony. So you've just opened up your backfield. You added to the tight end spot. Now you open up your backfield a little bit more, and depending on if CJ Procease makes the cut or not, I still think that's where they're going in the backfield is versatile running backs that can catch, pass block, and be able to run between the tackles or get outside if they have to. I think the Bears want their players to be jacks of all trades and solid at everything that they're good at.
Mitch is feeling the pressure. Mitch is really feeling the pressure. I think that might be the biggest thing that I want to see, how he handles it. Mm-hmm. Okay, how he handles it. I want to see, and Matt Nagy came out the other day and said, "Well, I need more time to evaluate Mitch," which I didn't know how to take.
Yeah,
I didn't know how to take. Does he mean that if Mitch hasn't improved greatly since last year? Because if he hasn't, then he's going to be his leash is short. He's not going to be playing the starter much longer. Mm-hmm. Or if he's, I don't know. That's what I see. That's what I hear, I should say, when he said that. But I don't know.
It sounds like to me. It sounds like because remember at the end of last year, remember even going in when them signing Nick Foles, it was like, oh man, you could tell we had like in our minds we were like, oh, this guy has zero confidence in Mitch Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a Matt Nagy movie. He's moving on. Then we started hearing about Cordero. We started hearing about how Mitch is coming in. He's got a different. He's got pun intended. He's got the eye of the tiger. But it's to me hearing that from Matt Nagy, it's just like maybe he sees something. Maybe he's like, huh. Maybe something clicked. I don't know because I can't watch the practices. You know what I'm saying? We can't. We're not in there watching the practices, seeing what Mitch is doing. That would change Matt Nagy's mind. But that's how I see it. It was maybe Matt Nagy was like, maybe he gets it. Because we're here. All we hear is about Mitch with another great practice. Mitch with another great practice. And it is practice. But, I mean, that has to, in a head coach's mind, especially for who Mitch is to this organization, who he was supposed to be, who they thought he was going to be, you have to have a second thought, especially if you think he's got it.
I don't know. Cordell Patterson, the move they're talking about him using as running back. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about that. I know he's big, 6'1", 6'2", 2.25, but to play that position on a regular basis, there's a feel you got to get, right? There's, and I don't know if he's got it. I mean, because it was always trick plays with him. Okay. So if you're going to move him to running back permanently, like they're doing, I'm a little concerned. I don't know because he's got great speed. Don't get me wrong, unless they're just trying to get the best kick returner in the NFL right now more touches.
Yeah, he did it in New England though. Remember, he did a little bit here and there. I'm with you though. I don't necessarily know if this is just for gadgets, if this is a real thing, like if you're going to be in a rotation with the running backs, if you're going to be a decoy, from the backfield to the slot to the back, whatever gadget play you may have drawn up. But I'm with you. I don't know. I don't know if this is where we want to go necessarily.
Yeah, because apparently wide receiver is not, when he was with New England, he ran more than I think he caught. So
it could be to get him more touches. I'm with you there too. It could be to get him more touches because you got to think about the receivers that they have to use. They're about to cut Weems or they may cut Weems or a receiver. And I know you hate that, but they don't have a lot of space for somebody, for some of these guys to be touching the ball. There's not enough room. So, I mean, I could see them to keep Cordell happy. You get him touches everywhere you can. The kick return game, out of the backfield, out of the slot, wherever you can, just get him touches to keep these guys happy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's a big body. We saw when he was playing against us with New England how bodies bounced off him. We saw it last year when he was with us, how bodies bounce off him. Yeah. So he's definitely a big, strong body.
I'll say that when he hits the hole, and when he was in New England, when he would hit the hole, or when he'd hit, even in kick returns, when even after contact, he goes like he has a burst.
Yeah.
He has an explosion. So like I understand, especially if you're, as a running back, if you're able to hit that hole and then hit that second level with a smack in the face, that's some gold right there. Like that's some fun stuff. You get to run over some safeties. It's great. It's always fun to me.
Yeah. I hope it works out. I hope he's not maybe 5 to 7 touches a game would be okay with me as a running back. Because you have David Montgomery, I think you need to feed. You have Tariq Cohen. You may, if you sign another running back like a CJ Precise, those guys need to rock. Those guys need to get lathered up. Mm-hmm. And you can't take carries away from them to give to a project running back. Mm-hmm. I hope they realize that. I do, because if that's the case and they keep it minimal, definitely under 10, 5 to 7 touches, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. He has a big body. He's breakaway speed. You miss a tackle, you bounce off him. now you're looking at big yardage. So I'm okay. Just don't get too crazy and give him 15, 20 touches, during the game. Then I have an issue.
Yeah, and I don't want them trying to force it either. And it could just be even just having his presence in the backfield. That could be all it is. Just giving your opponents another thought. He's there too, and he can do it.
Yeah. So I'm excited too about to see Jalen Johnson. He's going to be with Artie Burns going down with the torn ACL. Jalen Johnson is the favorite to win that starting cornerback position opposite Kyle Fuller. This guy had a first round grade. But the injury to his shoulder dropped him. I'm thankful for that injury because this guy in many boards was the third best cornerback in the draft. So if he's the third best cornerback in the draft, the Bears got a phenomenal steal. Just like they did with Eddie Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. Eddie Jackson, and the way Jalen's talking, I like to hear it from a cornerback. Like we don't have, I don't think we've had plenty. I mean, maybe Peanut to an extent. Well, we haven't had a guy with a chip on his shoulder at cornerback, and I don't know how long. Maybe ever. I don't know. Maybe you've watched Bears football longer than I have. So it's like maybe you've seen a guy, but for me, I haven't seen a guy with. He seems like he has an edge, and I want to see him out there. I want to see him out on the field. I want to see what he could do with that edge.
Yeah, I think Kyle Fuller is recently is the last guy to have a cornerback to play with an edge. It was part of it had to do with him being a contract year for him. Part of it had to do with Vic Fangio calling him out, putting him on Front Street to the media. But he's definitely a great cornerback, and to have a Jalen Johnson learn under a great cornerback, a guy who has a chip on his shoulder, to me is priceless. So if he gets that starting gig, tell you what, Bears fans are going to be really happy. That defense is going to be everything we hope for and more. Everything we hope for and more, because you get two island DBs, island cornerbacks, you're good. If these guys can just, like Deion used to say when he was playing, he's like, why don't we just pick a man and stay with him? Why don't we just pick a man and stay with him?
Yeah, it's just you're in his head already. You've been working against him, the whole time. Why not treat it like a prize fight? Like you're on him. This is who you're sticking today. This is who you're mirroring nonstop. I'm excited. Football's almost here, dude.
Yeah,
it's on its way, and I'm excited because I feel like the Bears are going to be able to. I think they're going to right a lot of wrongs. I feel like they're going to right a lot of wrongs. I'm not going to be too enthusiastic like we were last year, all for naught. But I think they're going to right a lot of wrongs. I think that running game might just be, I want to say serviceable because I don't want to. Because serviceable sounds like it's one play away from breaking down.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be exceptional. I think it'll be a running game that we'll be happy with. I think that the defense, missing Eddie Goldman. I think, man, my guy Bilal Nichols. I love Bilal Nichols just because and I feel like him getting more time with Eddie Goldman out. I think that's going to advance his game even more because there's plays where Bilal has come through, like where you just see him separate and there's Bilal, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You see the whole clear up. He just clears it out. Boom, you're stuffed. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the safeties, and I'm excited about Roquan. Roquan is Roquan's my guy this year. That's going to go off. Like
I hope so.
Some might think it's Eddie. Some might think it might be a Keem or a Khalil or even a Quinn. I think Roquan Smith is. I think he's in another zone. I think right now he's like glazed over and is football on the mind, 100%.
He's a guy who's just had big talent, and again, that was Ryan Pace's first legit pick.
Yeah,
smart pick. A guy who could come in and contribute immediately. That was his first one, and I think I agree with you. I think Roquan Smith is going to be all over the God blessed field. And more power to him. You're young, get there. You can be disruptive. right? Before you have to start kind of using angles and Kate, use your experience. Right now, he can fly to the ball, and to me, that's awesome. To me, that's he led the team in tackles again. So his first 2 years, he led the Bears in tackles. After missing training camp is his rookie year, right? And that contract holdout. This guy is special. This guy could definitely go down as one of the better linebackers in Chicago Bear history.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, that's scary, but that's an exciting scary at his untapped potential. So that front seven, I'm good with, even without Goldman, because you talked about Bilal Nichols, also Roy Robertson Harris can slide in there. But I'm really anxious to see Robert Quinn. I'm really anxious to see that new toy. All right, I want to see if he can come in, make an impact. If he can come in even if he doesn't get a sack, but if he gets a lot of pressures, the quarterback has to step up. Then that's what you want. That's what I want.
That's what I mean. Who wouldn't? And Robert Quinn is just if he does what we expect him to do, if he opens it up for Khalil again, and while Khalil and Akeem, while himself being a disruptor. Oh man, this defense could do some things. I think this defense could do some special things.
Yeah, it can. Well, listen, 3 hours is come and gone. Man, oh man. I want to say thank you to Joseph Phillips. Joseph from the Chicago Crusader calls in. He sits in with us the first hour, top of the morning topics. We appreciate it. Kenneth Davis, who sits in the second hour, 10 to 11. Great stuff. Always good to see Kenneth from the Davis Show now. And then Brad Squires from the On Tap Sports Net for making his wife wait while he hopped on Shawn Maya in the morning. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. And then lastly, but not least, our guest, Andy Cruz Vanasek. Thank you for calling in. You guys, and give us a couple perspective for the crosstown today. Great stuff. You guys made it. You made it. Just Mother Hubbard.
It's time. This is when I come out.
Yeah. Here's where the troll. Here's where the Sox troll comes out. Hey, you folks made it a great show, and we really appreciate your time. We're gonna take a weekend off, and I'm probably heading up to Michigan in a little bit, and I'll be back to either tomorrow night or Sunday. So I'm looking forward to just kind of recharging my batteries, staying on the beach and just chilling, relaxing, not doing much. Just if I come back a little darker, I just might. We'll see. So for my lovely co-host in absentia. Oh, I'm sorry, I almost forgot to mention our technical producer, Elliot Baez, and I want to thank our social media guy, Clarence Council. This dude keeps us, man. As soon as anything happens, boom, it's up. Clarence posts their thing, so I want to thank them. And again, I always want to thank Ivan for keeping the show running. Everybody else, all you guys made it a great show, a great day, a great week, and we appreciate it. So for my lovely co-host in absentia, Maya Kai, and my guy Ivan Vargas.
Go Cubs, go!
Boo! I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Make sure you watch those games tonight, Cubs fans, Sox fans. It's gonna be great tonight, tomorrow evening, 7:00 Sunday. A matinee affair. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. I got 5 words for you. Download the app. I'm out.